So, yeah, should we explain why we're watching this?
No, just let it play, then we'll go into it.
All right.
Brunson in the blue shirt, Bosnian in the whites.
Landed 2 good punches before that, too.
Oh, it's going to take us to...
All right,
All right,
go ahead.
sexy
What's
time.
up, girl? How
So,
you doing?
Yeah.
Kelsey does not have an earwig slithering between her toes. What?
Why is this?
What does that mean? Home is where the bugs aren't?
What?
Orkin. This is an Orkin commercial? This is
We
a
need a
sexy ass...
podcast.
Pause this.
Why?
This is a podcast. This is a commercial. This is a commercial with a sexy looking woman in a bathtub full of bubbles
Yeah.
typing on her
And they're just
phone.
talking
Great
about
lighting,
bugs.
Yeah, like beautiful.
What is
It's
this?
great lighting. It's like sexy time. Now hit play.
Isn't life great without bugs?
Kelsey does not have an earwig slithering between her toes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Home
Alright.
is where the bugs aren't.
I don't think
Orkin.
we're above rubbing one out to an Orkin.
He landed more than Kyle was giving him credit for sometimes, but if I had to call that, I'd probably say Brunson.
Yeah, I think he had the control of the
I
round.
disagree.
2 judges gave it to Brunson. I'm the champ.
I'm the champ.
I'm the champ.
Every MMA website that actually watches and fans of the fights
Judges
gave
are
it
the
to
guys whose
Shabazian,
job it
so.
is to
So we
score
started.
the-
I'm also by the way, I did a Bastards of Bourbon before this, and I'm pretty drunk. So we'll take it for what it is.
But I feel like a lot of those, like Brunson got a hand in the way. Yeah, they still had some impact because like it wasn't a full block.
Now, who was I more impressed by in the round? Shabazian. I was more impressed by him. I think he looked like the better striker, without a doubt.
He landed the heavier shots. The knee was
Okay,
heavy.
I think-
that was a nice
I
knee.
don't.
I just think there was a lot
Are
of-
you talking
there was
about
a-
the knee where they're grappled together and he
Still
kind
hit
of
him.
goes out?
I mean, he hit him.
I feel like it barely. I feel like it was extended so far that like the power was off of it though. Like
But it's still a point.
a point. Yeah, but
But I mean, like, what big punches? He landed a few good punches during the beginning of the round. The last half, Brunson barely landed any strikes.
I mean,
He did land as many,
it's not
but he
the
had-
strikes from Brunson that
My
does it
thing was
for
he
me,
had
it's
a
the control.
lot of control time.
He didn't.
in
He
that
had about
round.
like 30 seconds on the ground.
No,
No, there was
than
more
that.
than 30 seconds.
Yeah, but he didn't
took
do-
him down. Then we were in halfway
but-
through the
And
fight,
he
and he
smacked
still had
him
him on the
three-
ground.
He smacked him big. Those shots, you know what I mean?
Those 3 strikes.
from behind the guy to his face, two big shots.
I just think he
those
had
are-
more control.
Yeah,
I don't value control over harder shots.
I
though.
value control a lot. Though.
That's why I'm saying that I was more impressed by Shabazian. I was more
Because
impressed by him.
I value control a lot more than like flurries of little strikes because like anybody can just flurry strikes like.
I value it because a lot of times the judges value it.
Yeah, right. That,
But
and I
I-
mean, yeah, it's mostly I lean on like I think the judges think that that's a big deal.
Yes, I completely agree.
I mean, it's just a different standard though to judge a fight. Well, if I'm not looking for what the judges think,
That's true.
I could look at that. I could look at that way, and I can see why the judges gave it. But I understand that like
Do I think Shabazian probably caused more damage even? Yes, because he landed the harder shots.
he landed more clean shots. Brunson,
Yes.
he was pushing the pace a lot more.
He's pushing the pace a lot more. He had him for a decent amount of time on the ground, and he landed some shots when he was in there, including from the back.
I
three
mean,
really
it's definitely
clean
a
ones.
close round. I
close.
think
I
slightly.
think you can coin flip it.
Yeah. I just slightly
But-
think it
but-
was
but-
Brunson's.
But like, what do you say about all the websites giving it to Shabazian?
I
Like-
don't care what other people say.
I think sometimes that happens, and I think sometimes when I judge fights, I'm drunk, and I could be wrong. I'll have to actually watch it, but because a lot of times I tend to agree with the fighters when they're
Yeah.
doing their Twitter reactions. A lot of times there'll be like 2 or 3 that I don't, but for the majority I agree with them.
Yeah.
So if that's what they're saying,
a few
then-
fighters gave it to Shabazian. I seen. I don't remember any tweets that gave it to Brunson.
yeah.
But I don't know. Watching the fight, I felt like Shabazian was gonna came out of that first round more tired. Like I just looking at him coming out in the second round, I was like, I think that first round wore him out quite a bit.
Well, that's a different.
We started with this because this was an argument between these two.
But also, how much does you having money on Brunson bias you towards Brunson?
It
Oh,
doesn't.
for sure.
It doesn't make me.
I
It
mean,
doesn't
I'm
make
not-
me
not to
think.
be unfair.
It's not. It does like it doesn't do anything for me in terms of like making me think he won because if I felt he was losing the round, I would just feel like, ugh, fuck, he's losing the round. Like,
Right.
It doesn't make me like give it to him more. Like, I'm worried about winning or losing it, not Like
either you're looking at it objectively or you're becoming a gambling addict. It's one of the two.
yeah. No, I mean I'm looking at it like, am I gonna fucking win this? Like, and after that first round, I was like, I think Brunson's got the edge.
Well,
here.
I wouldn't say that, like, even watching it, like, I don't like. I mean, Brunson's. I don't dislike him, and I don't like.
How did this fight end?
Oh, third round TKO for Brunson.
That's what I thought.
Well, it was really Brunson knocked him
bad.
out in the end of the second round, and
He came back
the bell
out.
rang, and it really they should have never let him come out for the third round. He was out, and well, I don't. He got rocked with a big punch that like you knew he wasn't going to continue after that one, and the bell rang and Herb made him come out for the third round, and Brunson quickly just laid it on him.
So they. But I think one thing we can all agree on here, then he needs to get a new coach, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's what we've been
Well,
saying. That's why I put my money on Brunson, and because I mean Shabazian, I was like, yeah, he's 12-0, but you know he's not fought anybody like of Brunson's caliber.
I think Tavares is similar. Brunson.
Yeah, but Brunson has only lost fights to big names.
Big names. He's
And-
right. We looked at it.
Yeah, and
Only big names,
I
and
think,
we hate it.
I think Brunson's, he's of that caliber. He's just under those top fivers and stuff.
Well, me and Kyle talked about it before the podcast for a minute. That it's like you try to gauge where each fighter's at in terms of whether one's declining or ascending, and it's like hard to sort of, you don't know until after the fight happens.
Right.
So you don't know where Edmund's at because he hasn't really been tested in this way. So you don't know where Brunson's
How far
at.
is he rising versus how far
Someone's
is Brunson
falling, and you can meet in the middle and sort of be skilled, skilled similarly. So it's hard to tell until after the fight, and after the fight, it seems so obvious as the of course, but it's like going into it, you only have the previous fights. I saw Brunson fight Ian Heinisch and barely squeak out a decision against Ian Heinisch,
Right.
and then he beat Elias Thurido in a very boring fight that he didn't do much damage in. So you
And
see,
listen, on this podcast, we say all the time, like, what is it? Get out of here,
Go
Derek
away,
Brunson.
Derek
Go
Brunson.
away.
Right.
Go away. Because it's
you're
like,
derailing
He's
people who are on the rise a lot.
a lot.
Right.
He only loses to the top of the top and then beats anybody that they try to bring up.
Yeah.
Right.
Shabazian was a guy that they were, jet setting to the top. They want,
Well-
that the reason for him to fight Brunson was he gets past Brunson, he's a top 5 guy, and we're gonna.
you just look at Stylebender versus Brad Tavares. He went 5 rounds with him, and then Shabazian knocked him out in the first round.
Yeah.
So you see that
Fights are chaotic though.
yeah, you see that similar performance. That's all you have to go off is past data and past performances. And
That's
how
why
they look,
I think fighting is actually like the best thing to bet on, because like football, man, you can start crunching numbers and kind of figure out what's gonna happen. Like they can mathematically pretty much figure a football out.
Yeah, but this pretty much makes it the worst thing to bet on, actually.
It's
so
sometimes,
unpredictable.
but like I think Vegas gets it wrong a lot more in fighting than they do.
But they
in
only
football.
have to go off of the performances too. They have the same set
But
of
they
data.
get caught
we
up
do.
in hype a lot too. Like if a guy is undefeated, Vegas weighs it that.
Well,
they
don't. How Vegas works is they don't actually give up to the hype. They go by like, oh man, there's an explosion of bets on this dude.
Yeah.
So we're now going to change it.
Well,
because they got to try to
it
equal
translates
it out.
to a lot of times they end up on the wrong side of the hype.
Yes.
Well, that's only in hindsight that Shabazian was as good as he was coming up. He wasn't. He looked bad in that fight, and he showed a lot of holes and things he needed to work on. All these different things that now you could assess. But before that, he knocked out Brad Tavares in the first round. That's somebody who doesn't get knocked out in the first round. So you have to go off of, well, what does that show him as a fighter? And that proves something,
Right.
but it didn't prove everything. It didn't prove everything about his
I mean,
fight.
I don't think anybody was saying you were crazy for thinking he was going to be a monster or anything like that. But I do think probably
UFC
those
did.
holes has to do with his coach.
Right.
His coach is not good at strengthening people's weaknesses.
No, you're gonna stay right whatever your skill level is.
That's where you're at.
It's where you're at with him.
And his cardio looked bad too, and also and I think a lot of it, not a lot of it, but is a combination of factors of him not having the experience and being in those situations, and then, like whenever you need a gut check and you need to gut it out.
And I mean, when you
push through fatigue,
unfortunately, it kind of works against you if you're a guy who's going in there and knocking people out real quick all the time.
Right.
It's probably not the best for your cardio.
For sure.
Yeah, it just you need to face somebody like Brunson, and I think this loss will do a lot more for Shabazian than a quick knockout would have been.
You have to go up against a worker because to me that's what Brunson is.
Yeah, he's a grinder.
He's not very. It's not like he's a great striker. He's a decent wrestler. He's a good wrestler.
He's a grinder though.
I feel like he's not. His problem is he's not elite at anything, but he's pretty good at everything.
Yeah,
right.
He's pretty well rounded.
And he has his own deficiencies, but Shabazian wasn't good enough to capitalize when he had the gas. In him to even fight back.
Yeah, Brunson can take some punishment too. So
right,
but right a long time.
Yeah, and like
fought the best of the best,
breaking people's hearts and dreams.
Yeah. I don't like him because I don't like him personally because the way he would build fights is just was annoying as shit. But I respect him as a fighter.
I don't recall any lead up to a fight with him.
I don't remember anything.
I remember in that huge press conference a few years ago when he was calling Israel Adesanya.
Huge press conference. It sounds
when
weird.
he's fighting Israel Adesanya and he said it was oh, you're skinny, and it's just dude, no one cares because is he a good fighter or not? Who cares if someone's skinny? Shit that's annoying to me because it's is this a modeling contest?
And it's not. And it's not good shit talking. It's not like Conor McGregor coming out there attacking your family.
Right. It's a dumb thing. It's a dumb thing to say to somebody whenever and then you get knocked out by him.
Oh, you skinny.
Who gives a fuck whenever you're undefeated?
Knocked out by the skinny guy, though.
Yeah, it makes you look worse after you talk shit like that. And that's any shit talk though. You look worse if you talk shit and you lose. You just do. No matter what you say.
But when it's weak shit talk and then you also lose. That's not.
Yeah. But I also tend to root for guys seeing him, I didn't care if he won because, I guess a part of me knows that he's a person and he has a career and he has kids. So there's that aspect of familial, you're fans of somebody because they have these things in their life they need to win. You're
talking about Shabazian now.
And Shabazian could afford a loss better than Brunson could.
That's true. So okay, I see what you're saying.
So Derek Brunson has kids. He's 36 or whatever, 35. He's in the twilight of his years. He needs to keep his career going. He needs to make money.
Yeah.
So
staying at top 7, that'll keep some money in your pocket.
Right. So you feel bad, and you the human aspect of a fighter can endear you a little bit more than their other antics. I think
Brunson's probably earned himself.
Yeah, right.
There's some shitheads. I don't
Brunson's earned himself another big fight now, though. Yeah.
Right. I think. I guess we'll get into matchmaking.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Let's go ahead and move on from that, though. We pretty much laid it all out there. And Derek Brunson won by TKO
third round. About 40 seconds in. Yeah.
All right.
I'm the champion.
So we got Lando Venata versus Bobby Green.
Good fight.
And you were not high on Bobby Green before this, if I remember correctly.
Well, it just depends on because he's one of those hot and cold fighters where either he shows up and looks.
What you said.
Yeah, where he either shows up and his output has always been hit or miss. Either he's high output and is there in the striking, or he clowns too much and sits back and lets fight slip away from him. And he did good in this fight where he kept up his combinations. He would engage more.
Didn't he have kind of a good post-fight interview as well?
I think he was pretty humble and pretty pretty relatable.
Yeah, I forget what it was.
His last fight he talked about I think COVID or no, it was a racial themed one where his foster parents, I believe, were white people and they adopted him, and he said something about unity, and I don't want to misrepresent what he said, but I think that was
it was about unity.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to misrepresent at this point in the world.
Yeah.
And I feel like Lando Venata, I liked him because he took that Tony Ferguson fight 3 years ago on short notice.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And he just is what he is now. He's a fun fighter. He fights, but he hasn't changed his game up. He's just I don't know. He just hasn't made any strides in his game since coming to the UFC, and he's just a fun action fighter, and that's about it.
And he looks like he was. I mean, if you look at the stats here, scroll down a little bit, Bean. If you look at the stats here, it looks like Bobby got him pretty good.
Yeah.
The first fight was close. They actually fought before, and it was a draw.
Okay.
It's a rematch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a rematch. So the
the
first fight is close. So you just
Yeah, it says a lot
Dragon
about
Ball Z tattoo on his ribs.
Says a lot about the chaotic
I think
nature
it
of
is.
fights. So their first fight's a draw, and then this happens.
Yeah. There's a lot of X factors going into every fight about was their camp good? Was there injuries nagging? Did the guy work harder?
Yeah, so many outside factors.
That's why you're talking about betting on MMA. I don't know if the dude's
you
injured.
don't know a lot about what happened.
You don't know. There's a lot you don't know.
That's why I like to look at the weigh-ins. I always like to look at just that's another like I think a key piece of information when you're trying to
See if
figure out
they
who's
look
gonna win.
confident.
Yeah.
See
Right.
if
Well,
they
just
look loose.
What did their body look like? You know,
Yeah.
does it look like they had a
body
good
language
camp?
even? I
It's
would
like
say.
by comparison, you look at Verdum and his fight back with Alexei
Body
Oleinik.
language is tricky though, because like everybody's different, and it's like I mean, if you have a baseline for what you know the guy usually is like, then yeah. But like if you're trying to judge these guys who you don't know
Yeah.
much about, I don't know what that guy
Well,
normally acts
body
like.
language too. I remember back in the day, John Jones would always look away from his opponents, and like
Yeah.
to me, that's like, oh, beta male. But
Yeah.
no, John
No.
Jones would wreck the guy.
Yeah.
So you just don't
didn't
know.
care.
Right.
Yeah, you don't know how.
Honestly,
that's gonna
body language leading up to Conor Khabib, I thought Conor had it all, like had that down.
Well, if Conor could have prevented, I mean, I think eventually, if he could have stopped Khabib from doing what Khabib does, I
Yeah.
mean, he just would have killed him on his feet. He
Yeah.
looked
They-
nice. He
but they had a
looked
whole
loose.
round. They had a whole round on the feet.
Yeah, but
Well,
but didn't they say that Conor looked good in that round?
I-
and
it's the third round he won.
Right, but it was fairly close on the
Yeah.
feet. It wasn't like Conor was. I mean, like he won the round, but he got dropped on the feet too. So on
He
the
did.
second round,
He
so.
did that one punch
Yeah.
landed hard.
Well, Conor
that's
says
what caused the end of the fight,
Conor
right?
says, and
No,
I mean,
he took him out in the fourth round, I believe.
Oh,
Conor
okay.
says, and I mean, it makes sense that he was like, he's like, I did nothing but concentrate on wrestling and wrestling defense for this, and I
Should have
didn't.
done better.
I didn't, yeah, and I didn't concentrate at all on striking. And it's like, it makes sense that, I mean, if you're not focused on the idea that this guy's going to punch you.
Yeah.
He caught you with one.
Yeah.
We all know that Conor probably is better on the feet, though. Like, that's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
Come on.
But I mean, I guess it's like, well, you only have X amount of time in a camp to
Yeah.
prepare for
I mean,
anything. you know?
if
You
I'm
can't-
fighting Khabib, that's all I'm.
But
Oh.
he had more than a camp to get ready for Khabib, and he
Yeah.
should have been practicing his wrestling
yeah,
forever.
and his cardio should have been better.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, Khabib is actually a better striker than people. He's actually gotten better at striking.
Yeah.
Khabib's
He's
on
gotten
a,
better, but
Al Iaquinta, I think.
but he
made
jabbed
him
the
a
shit out of
better
Iaquinta. He outstrikes everybody just based on his wrestling, and that's like he's
Well,
not traditionally
yeah,
a great
because
striker.
He's landed punches.
yeah,
like,
he's landing punches like crazy. That's
But-
not on the feet.
But I think remarkably his defense is really good. He doesn't get hit clean a lot. He doesn't like Conor couldn't really land much on him.
Listen,
you know?
I don't like Khabib.
Yeah, I don't
He's
either.
the best.
yeah. I mean, like he's
Well, we'll
it-
see.
and you look.
Gaethje, dude.
I hope.
I hope. I mean,
Well,
I
yeah.
hope,
But I see
Yeah.
nothing. As much as I'm rooting for Gaethje, and I think Gaethje has the best possibility
Yeah.
of beating
He's
him
gonna
from
Khabib,
anybody that he
Khabib.
fought.
Yeah. There's nothing that says
It's
he definitely
Khabib.
wins.
Yeah,
so,
like-
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what I for so long thought something would happen, and nothing has ever happened, and nothing's even come close to really happening.
Yeah.
He's Khabib.
We'll
Yeah,
see though.
I think
mean,
He wrestles bears.
I think the Gaethje fight is
Yeah,
going to
right.
tell it. The Gaethje fight's going to tell it a lot.
Well-
Like, you know what I mean? What if he mangles Gaethje, then yeah, dude.
Yeah. Well, because
It's-
I've said for years that I thought, for probably a year or two, that I thought Gaethje was the best person to fight him because
He's
he's
wrestling.
good on his feet and he has incredible wrestling pedigree.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, he hasn't really used it in MMA, but he has incredible
But
pedigree.
if anybody's going to defend it,
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
that's the guy.
But
you know?
I feel like Khabib has the best wrestling ever in MMA.
Yeah.
Better than GSP, I
Yeah.
think. Just how effective and like how punishing his
Yeah.
wrestling is, and like it just, and also it's
How many people have you seen?
I really think we're about to find out. is
I
what
just
it is,
watched a
so.
guy try to do the mermaid move because that's what Conor calls it, where you put their
Pin
legs
their
in
legs
between
They
your
were
He's so
legs.
good at it,
last
though.
night.
That's what I'm saying. I saw so many people try to do it, and they can't do it the way he does it. He's
Yeah.
different. He's different. There's no way around
Weidman
it.
did it to what's his name last night.
That's what I'm saying, but he couldn't successfully do it.
Yeah.
The guy got his leg
Yeah,
out.
he got it.
You're not going to get your leg out against Khabib.
and you think about like we'll get to the
That's
Weidman.
what I was thinking about.
We'll
Was
get to
that.
the Weidman fight, but like
We're way away from that.
right,
Yeah.
but actually it's like weird that just the note on Khabib. When you look at Weidman shoot for takedowns in the way he was, and Weidman's a D1 wrestler. Of course, he's a little more aged than Khabib, but you think to yourself, Khabib does it effortlessly, and he doesn't make mistakes.
It's because when he grabs you, he grabs you.
And like Weidman was so sloppy in comparison to someone like Khabib, and like he just wasn't on that level of like being so foolproof with his grappling. You know,
Well, and to me, with Khabib, it's like the way his muscles work are like closer to a primate's than they are to humans.
Yeah.
Like he's that much stronger. Like you know how much
He locks up.
You know,
and
a chimp
can't
is
go
like
anywhere.
this big,
Yeah.
but it's way stronger than the
Yeah.
four of us
It's like
that
their
are in here
muscle
combined.
fibers
You
are
know
more
what I mean?
tightly woven or
Right,
something.
and I feel like that's what Khabib has.
Something.
He's just like, I'm different. I'm
Yeah.
not the same as you.
and you could like I can imagine the wrestling since days of 3 or 4 or 5, whatever he started wrestling. His body's built to wrestle. It just built
Yeah.
to grapple.
Yeah.
And like you can't you can't close the gap
Which-
in a training camp. You
Which
can't
fight
close
was the one on this card where
Oh, yeah, we
the
should go back to
guy
this.
where the guy was on his stool and they called timeout? I thought it was this one, but was it?
I don't think it was this one.
Remember they were like, it was in between rounds and the guy was basically like out on his feet, and the doctor came in and was like timeout to look at the guy.
I don't think it was this one, but we could probably find it. This is a good fight, by the way.
Yeah, well, I thought it was this one. I'm about to look because I remember sending you guys a message.
that was
Like,
a-
they called a fucking timeout.
I thought there was a guest on the podcast, that moth. Did
Um,
you kill the moth?
I tried to knock him out into the trash can.
He's fine, though. He's not dead, right?
Probably not.
Okay.
All right, so I love animals and bugs.
Right.
guess.
That's a good statement. You don't
Yeah.
want to offend anybody on the podcast.
Yeah.
So we should move on, though, because, so we're at Vincent Luque versus Randy Brown, and I didn't watch a lot of these fights, so I'm really going to rely on these guys
This is
a
a
lot.
great fight. Randy Brown.
It looked close.
It was close until it wasn't, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at
and
these
then-
stats,
Yeah, it was close until it wasn't. But a lot of Randy Brown strikes were like sort of distance strikes, like jabs, teeps, sort of leg kicks.
nothing with any. Well, I mean, it says 61 significant strikes.
Yeah, but like, it's just that he basically was on his bike and tried to keep distance, and Vincente Luque just like walked him down, sort of.
Did he have decent footwork, though?
It looked, yeah, but he didn't fight as long as he could have.
Yeah.
Like, he had a very significant height advantage and reach advantage.
It's probably a pretty big step up in competition for him, too.
Well, Vincent, if you're not top like 10, you'll get smashed by Luque. He's a monster if you're not top. He got beat by Wonder Boy, and that's his last loss in a while. So
yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, and like Wonder Boy's a
Didn't he
high level striker.
What his last fight was Nico Price, right?
Yeah, and he beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I mean it was a brawl, but yeah, he was
Yeah,
clearly
like,
the better.
if
of
you're
the
not top, he's gonna smash you. If you're bottom of the division, I mean, not bottom, but if you're under him, anywhere close under him, then you're not gonna win.
He beat him?
He beat Nico Price, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he
Oh, yeah.
he beat Mike Perry, which was the whatever win. But yeah, he has wins against everybody behind him. But I think he needs another step up in competition.
All right.
He's on a few fight win streak, I think.
Right.
Randy Brown is.
Yeah. No.
Luque.
Luque,
Yeah, well, obviously Randy Brown lost. I was gonna say.
I think he's one of those people. Where it's like, if you wouldn't fight him if you're higher ranked than him, because he's a very hard fight and no one knows who he is.
Right.
So he's stuck in that position of taking fights against anybody who will sign against him that's behind him, because who else is going to fight him? He seems like he's a workhorse in the division. He's going to take the fights no matter what. And some fighters aren't like that. Some will pick and choose who you fight.
Yeah. All right, we
Man,
can move on from this.
I need
Huh?
Yeah,
to figure out who this is.
Please don't talk about this fight.
Yeah.
Was it real bad?
It's so boring.
Yeah.
Look at the strikes.
It ended in the first round, though.
Yeah, it's just boring until then. It was just like a dump. She got lit up, tried to take her down, got subbed real fast, and that was it.
Yeah, Brandon just hates women though. So.
Yeah.
Didn't Shevchenko call her out after this?
Yeah, they're gonna fight.
Oh,
'cause,
yeah, that's the-
Calder was gonna fight Valentina, and then Maya beat her. So
I need to figure out there was a fight on this card where the guy was out, like it was like going second round going into the third, and the guy was basically out, and then like they had their whole time on the stool, and then as they're about to start the fight again, the doctor's like time out and goes to look at him, and it's like,
What's
bro,
going
the
on?
fight like you're
sounds like a fever dream.
Right. Was it on the prelim?
No, it was.
I remember that, but I don't remember the fight. I actually do remember that.
Or was it there? Was it Brunson and Shabazian where it was like in between?
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
between rounds 2 and
Alright.
3.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, we pretty much already talked about this, but
Yeah.
pretty much the understanding we've come to is Derek Brunson, no matter what, won the fight, obviously.
Yeah.
Man, if you look at those strike numbers, Jesus
A lot of that's in 2 and 3,
Christ.
though.
Yeah.
But Shabazian needs a new
Well,
coach.
3 was only
40 seconds.
or
40
something,
seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
So most of the output was in round 2. But yeah, okay, so that's what it was. The second round, Brunson has Shabazian laying on his back.
You guys said it was like a bad punch, like they shouldn't have even went back out.
No, yeah, okay,
Yeah, he was
so
done.
he's got him on his back, and he comes full bore from the top, bangs right in the chin.
Yeah.
As he's laying on the ground, and he just, and like, has to roll over to get up and go to his corner, and he's clearly like out on his stool, doesn't want to go back out, And then, so he has the whole time in his corner. And then
They call it
right
timeout
as they're
as well.
about to start the next round, they're like, timeout so the doctor can look at him. I'm like, fucking timeout. He was out. Like, you're giving him extra time to recover. Like, if he comes out and knocks Brunson out, how is that fair? Like,
if we're going to go conspiracy theory, that's the UFC wanting their star to recover.
Yeah, almost. I mean, it was like, dude, you gave him an extra minute, 30 seconds or something to
Yeah.
recover from a clear shot
Well,
that was about
I
to knock
did-
him
The
out.
doctor could have looked at him in between rounds.
Why didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, he shouldn't even came out for the third round.
Well, and
He
also
should not have.
it's on the referee too to judge
Yeah.
the end of the round as what it is. Like you don't. I mean, like, of course, it's a few different failures. It's the referee. It's the judge. It's the coach Edmund, which obviously he's a shithead, and then also the doctor. So they all
But
failed him.
Imagine if Shabazian comes out after that and cleans Brunson's clock, knocks him out.
Then-
What the fuck? Like, where are we at now that the doctor gave
It's
you
a
30
tainted
some-
victory.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like how with the Romero and I remember back in the day.
Yes.
When he
Romero
stool
just stayed on
Yeah,
the stool.
stayed on
Yeah,
the stool.
the same idea, and then he ended up finishing him in the last
But
round.
this was
so.
even weirder because the doctor, like
Sanctioned it, yeah.
sanctioned it. Like, yeah, I'm like, how, like that should be. If you can't come out off your stool, like it's over. I guess. I don't know. Like,
No, that's actually exactly how it's supposed
Yeah.
to be. If you
Yeah.
can't answer the bell,
Yeah.
then you lose the fight.
Right.
That's,
But the
that's
doctor-
exactly the rule.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the doctor made you not answer the bell. But it's like, man, I don't know. That like I couldn't imagine the scenario if Shabazian does win after that. It's like, dude, that's
You got a rematch or
you
something.
got to.
Yeah, I mean it just clogs up the taints the victory there.
But luckily that
Yeah.
Brunson came out and won.
All right,
So this card I actually saw.
This
most
is a
of the
great
fights.
ass fight.
And not only was this a great fight, but
This card was pretty good.
yeah, the card was
Yeah.
pretty good. And the two highlights for me are in the main event and this fight. Man, I like how do you say it?
Benil Dariush.
Dariush. I like Dariush a lot.
Yeah,
Like even his personality.
yeah. He looks like a higher class like dentist who does like CrossFit. or
Dennis is
something like that.
perfect.
Dennis, yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
he? Like, looks like somebody who's like in shape and
Plastic
bikes.
surgeon.
Dennis or the Wall Street guy that isn't as rich as the other Wall Street guys.
But like he's just ripped and like
Yeah.
older, and he looks
Yeah.
older than like 31.
He's a
He looks like
plastic surgeon.
38.
Plastic surgeon.
He wasn't it like he did a spinning back fist, but he hit him with like the forearm.
Forearm.
It was pretty nasty. Though.
But man, honestly, he was landing shots all over the place.
yeah, he
man.
came out like a tank.
What I like about him too is in his post fight, he actually, first of all, did not like that fight. He said, sometimes I just lose control of myself and I just go for it. So he didn't even like that he was striking as much.
He thought he was undisciplined.
Well, he was like a high level grappler too.
Yeah, so he thought he was undisciplined basically.
Yeah.
And then
if it
and
works,
then
man,
he
it
also
works.
missed weight, which I'm sure he took the fight on short notice.
Mm.
But he also missed weight, and he was very upset about himself with it. And he told Dana White on air in his post-fight, like right after the fight, his post-fight interview,
Yeah.
he said, if they think I deserve like one of the bonuses for this, you
Don't
got to
give
give
it
it to he said you got to give it to Scott Holtzman.
Because he took the
His
fight
opponent.
anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he took the fight anyways.
Yeah, it's a classy move.
He's
yeah.
like I don't deserve it. I didn't make weight. It's unprofessional.
Yeah.
This-
I like him a
Full
lot.
class.
Very humble, yeah.
Full class.
But speaking of missing weight, this is a tidbit, but I saw that the fights last week, the previous card we just covered, Ray Borg missed weight and pulled out, or he pulled out of the fight, and he was actually released from the UFC because
Oh,
he
wow.
pulled out of that fight. Because
No
this is the
shit.
fifth
Yeah, I think they
time
would
he's
rather you take the fight than.
Yeah.
he's missed weight 4 times, and
No,
he's
well,
pulled out
that's-
5
yeah, it's
times
over,
of
dude.
fights. And
But
it's
you know,
like-
some fight people are going to be like, oh, after he went through all that on the bus, now, like, well, dude, he can't do his job.
yeah, it's just
he's
like
not doing his job.
I mean, show up. You only get so much leeway
Yeah.
when it comes to either show up to work or don't. Because there's fighters who are just as injured.
What weight class?
Actually,
is
go back to that Dariush.
What weight class is Dariush?
155.
155.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and-
He's not ranked.
I think he's number 14.
14.
yeah, but
So-
I'm a big fan.
He's on
of
a
this
win
guy.
streak.
and he's on a 4-fight win streak.
He needs to step up again.
He definitely needs to step up. Because I'll tell you what, like Scott Holtzman didn't look bad,
He just got
but
outclassed.
he got outclassed.
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah,
All around, even by the post-fight interview, he just
just
slashed you out of the damn
Even
building,
in the
dude.
conversation, he's like, give him the money.
Yeah.
his name though, like his nickname, Hot Sauce, is a cool nickname.
That is a
Yeah.
cool nickname.
Yeah, that's all I know about him. His name is Hot Sauce.
Yeah.
All right, but so Daniel Dariush,
Daniel Dariush.
Beniel
Beniel.
Dariush. He
Benil.
won by Benil. That's what it is. He won
Spinning
by
back fist knockout.
spinning back fist TKO from the forearm, basically. Actually,
And then
great fight, Glad to see him win again. He's becoming one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty fast fight. He could probably have a quick turnaround fight, maybe October. Maybe next month if he. But I want him to make weight, so it needs some time to get the weight down.
Yeah, give him some time. Yeah.
Anyways, next fight is literally the most boring fight I've seen all year.
She pinned her against the cage and just would not.
I'm just saying.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying I hated it. I just
if you're a masochist, maybe I could see you liking this fight.
She just she was comfortable with leaving her up against that cage and nothing else.
But she was causing damage.
Oh
man.
Yeah,
she was landing good knees.
She controlled the entire fight.
Good elbows.
Look at the stats.
That's what I'm saying. That was complete domination, and she was causing damage. The girl was bloodied up.
Yeah.
It's not like she pushed her up against the cage and did nothing.
No.
She worked the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
It just was.
I knew some at least one of us was going to be like, this is boring, and I was going to be like, no, man, I loved it.
Legend has it, though, is that she still has her against the cage.
Yeah.
I'm not. They've not even let go of her.
It's obviously
against the cage
it doesn't
forever.
make for the most exciting fight, but I mean, she did
smart.
her job, she did it well, dude. She
beat the fuck out of her.
she never
It's
let
not
her
like
move.
she just let her laid up against the cage and nothing. She beat the fuck out of her.
It makes me wonder though, like, what's that girl?
How good is that girl?
Yeah, how good is she?
I don't think she's that good.
Yeah.
For looking her stand up when she was on the outside,
she had no ways to
She's
win.
very
good call pushing her up against the cage.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to win. She did not look great on the feet. But I will say she had balls enough that at the end of the fight, she stood toe-to-toe with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
she could have got knocked out.
I still think there's enough high-level women's MMA.
And it's Thiago Santos' girlfriend.
Yeah, of course.
Yuna is? Yeah. Yana. But, like, I was thinking about, like, there's not enough high-level MMA to justify it being in the UFC, I don't think. It should just be in a different promotion. I think there's a few good fights.
They should almost create their own women's league.
Well, they do.
They
have
Invicta.
Yeah.
Is that UFC own them?
Yeah, she came. That's where this girl came from. She was the champion over there. She won like the bloodiest fight ever.
But she's like, I mean, it's like the level. It's like she's the champion of that, and she looked like dog shit.
Yeah.
And like, nothing against her. I'd call any man that looks at the same skill level. It's just like she looked bad.
First of all, this Willett is excellent. Second of all, I actually don't think she actually looked bad. I think she didn't know what to do with those double underhooks, and she was just her arms were like this most of the fucking fight.
Yeah,
she couldn't do anything about it because when she got her to the ground, she was very active. She just had her back and neck up against the cage, so she couldn't do what she was trying to do, and she couldn't get the position to change. But she was active. She was trying to get the triangle. She almost had the fucking. She almost had the arm bar.
She kept the fight where she wanted it the whole time.
Yeah, but I'm saying this girl, she almost had.
Yeah.
She almost
wasn't
had
there a
the arm
stand up
bar.
at some point?
And then with every stand up exchange, she looked better as well.
Yeah.
Right.
But this one, the stand up, there was a stand up.
It's just that like
she looked a lot stronger.
She had no
lot stronger.
She had no answer to that clinch position against the cage, and like it just like. How's it still like even?
She couldn't even drag her to the ground. She was trying to pull guard and could not drag her to the ground.
Right.
She finally did it the one round where she almost got the arm bar, but she could not get it again after that.
I just don't think she's like. I mean,
I think you put her up against somebody else, she does all right.
Yeah, for sure. It just like didn't have an answer for that.
Didn't have an answer for that.
And sometimes you don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Well, now hopefully she gets back to the lab and figures one out.
She needs to stick her ass against the cage and just work from there and figure it out.
I've seriously never seen anybody with their arms like this for so long at a fight. Like I can't.
Your arms would be getting tired.
Yeah. It's like you're the Y at YMCA for the entire fight.
Yeah. It's like when you'd be bad at when you're 11 years old and your parents are like, go stand in the corner and hold your arms in the air as long as you can. I flipped somebody off once and they made me stand in the corner with like this for as long as I could hold my arms up.
Kyle's child abuse stories from
You probably loved every minute.
That's why I
of
love
that,
all
though.
this violence.
All right, next
This
fight.
is a great ass fight.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
this is the one. This is the only one I didn't see.
No, this is a really good fight. Seriously, it lasted around and they came out banging. Seriously, like Maki Patolo landed some bombs on him.
Didn't he? It wasn't a guillotine though.
He shot for a takedown. He got choked with a I think arm and guillotine or something like that. It was a good ass fight for as long as it lasted.
For the way the fight went, you would have never thought like this is gonna end in a submission.
Well, it's funny because I thought I missed like a 3-round banger, but no, it was first round.
Yeah, I'd go back and watch it if I were you. It's pretty good.
They're clanging and banging for a minute, but
3 minutes or whatever.
He wrapped him up in one of them surprise guillotine.
Which it seems to happen to people a lot. Surprise guillotine, even if they don't end up locking it up. They get damn close.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a good deterrent too. Whenever someone shoots in, and especially if you could like sweep out of it and get on top or
Yeah.
get, threaten with the guillotine. It's pretty effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good fight. And it was pretty close on the feet. Like I said, they both landed some bombs. They didn't come out hesitant at all. Like they came out banging.
They were going for it.
Yeah.
They just fell into position.
Honestly, I felt like Darren Stewart probably was gonna win the fight had he not got caught up for that guillotine. But
Yeah.
Mikey Patola landed some good strikes as soon as they started.
yeah, I felt like Stewart's were doing a little extra damage.
I think he's British, and his
They're
nickname's-
both are, weren't they?
Mikey Patola is from Hawaii, so
Okay.
I think he trains with Holloway. But because I've seen Holloway post on Instagram about his fight. But
Yeah.
and his name's the Dentist. So I like that nickname too.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass.
Good name, isn't it?
He sold Benil Dariush's nickname, the Dentist or whatever.
Yeah,
'cause
it
he
should have
was-
been his nickname for sure.
The dentist there you.
That's actually a pretty good nickname.
Yeah.
But so maybe we're looking forward to seeing Darren Stewart fight again.
Yeah, either one of them really.
Yeah, they're both pretty good.
Yeah.
And then it's like middleweight has these like random fighters who, like, are action fighters, and some are good and some are like boring. But these dudes are pretty good. They're
Nice.
always come to fight. Like you have people like Sam Alvey when he was back in the division, just stinking
Yeah.
it up and having boring fights. I
Yeah.
hate Sam Alvey, but yeah, go on.
All right, next fight.
Mario Akhmedov.
Lackluster
Sloppy
fight, man.
Yeah, very boring fight.
Chris Weidman. I mean, that's the that's the worst win I've ever seen.
Worst win I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
no one looked good.
No.
No one looked good.
Even with the control Weidman had for so long, where
He
he
should
ended
have
up winning,
pounded the shit out of him on
and
top.
he
He just
couldn't,
didn't.
Yeah.
and he couldn't.
Because like somehow Akhmedov got more tired than Weidman after the second
Yeah,
round.
if Akhmedov just had some better cardio and could have kept pace in the third round, he'd have won. Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
he was
started
landing some decent shots, but he was
he was
also
pulling
throwing
away with it in the
sloppy
second.
shots.
Yeah.
That's like I talked to Kyle about this fight, and it's like Akhmedov. I've seen him fight. He's just not that good at. Like he doesn't have finishing ability. He hasn't finished a fight in forever.
Yeah.
He's not threatening in a lot of places. He's a grinder, and like
He
Weidman.
still came damn close to finishing Weidman.
I mean, like only because I don't know if he was. Weidman looked like he was hurt, but also he looked just tired too. So it's hard to
Yeah.
tell how close that was. It was like, well, he just looked gassed. So like
To me, he looks like what I expect Chris Weidman to look
Yeah.
like.
right, but he looked his striking looked worse than it previously did.
terrible.
Well,
Well,
'cause-
his cardio wasn't there, and then I mean, he had
Weidman,
Well, he probably thought he was going to go up to light heavy and have a decent career up there, and that got.
And
that-
then his
that
post-fight
changed.
interview, he has to drum up some excitement for his next fight. You could tell he was like, "I suck." Like, that was
Yeah.
terrible.
He was not excited.
I think it's
about
the
anything.
realization that like you're not a top fighter anymore,
No,
and
you're
you
not,
can't
buddy.
compete in the top
But,
10.
but he's trying to tell people to watch out
Yeah.
Watch
because
out
he's
for
on the
what?
right track.
Yeah.
One
Like,
round of
He
gas,
barely
Yeah.
got past Mario Akhmedov, who
Yeah.
we didn't have a lot of faith to begin with.
Yeah.
and I don't know. Weidman's curious because like I feel like he was pretty good as a fighter for like you said in the chat about a year or two, and like
Yeah.
he
His lead up to Silva, I mean, he was a good,
and like he
fight.
beat Machida in a 5-round fight on the
Yeah.
feet. He had the
Yeah.
gas, and like that's pretty impressive. Machida's
He
a
had
good
the
striker.
benefit
He's a
of
really
taking-
good
he
striker.
took out
He's
the
got a
old
weird
guard.
striking style because of that karate, but he's good.
He
Yeah.
took out the old
Got
guard,
figured out.
though. He took out the old guard when they were all aging out.
Like
Yeah.
Belfort, post
And he
TRT of
wa-
Belfort.
Yeah, and he came in at a time when there wasn't
I'd say
much else.
TRT Belfort would have probably beat him.
Right, but I don't know because you got to think of did USADA have an effect on Weidman because he hasn't looked good since USADA came in
That's
either.
true.
Yeah.
And
He's
I-
also older, though.
And
you
I-
know what mean?
and I
I just never thought
I
he
was
was
never
that
a big
great.
fan,
I never
no.
thought he was that good.
But I was talking to Kyle about this. Like he had like 27 surgeries in his body since he became an
It's a
athlete.
lot, man.
27
that's
surgeries.
insane.
And that's a lot of time spent in recovery. Not
Yeah, he's always injured,
working.
and like you kind of feel like, and I don't like him because I don't like him as a person, but it's the same thing with Brenton, where like he has kids, he's on a losing streak. It's like you feel bad. I sort of felt bad for him,
I don't care.
but like
Yeah.
but like
Fuck why.
I know, just like he doesn't seem like such an asshole. Maybe delusional.
Yeah.
He never like was, egregiously like terrible as a person.
Yeah.
It's just like he was kind of cocky.
Yeah. His self promotion was always kind of cringe to me, though, just because it's
just
like,
don't care
bro, everybody better get on this hype train, because
I mean,
why?
Yeah, why would I get on this hype train?
Yeah.
I mean, you do what you got to do to compete, though. It's like, what are you gonna say? I suck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to have a sort of arrogant self belief that
Yeah. It's
propels
weird.
you.
It's weird to say because
Yeah,
the
you
fight
have
ended
to.
so quick because of a broken leg. But I think he was going to be in serious trouble in that
Yeah,
second
I do
Silva
too.
fight.
I don't think so.
I think Silva came to that fight ready to fight.
Yeah, I think he was.
He got
gonna
knocked.
win.
He knocked Silva down in the first
Yeah.
round, though.
I know, but Silva
I still
looked
think
like he
Silva
was
was
ready
going
to
to turn
fight.
it on.
Yeah,
But
he
like-
looked like he was ready to fight. He was aggressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like the fight is just
We'll never know. Though.
we'll
Never
never
know.
know. But like Silva wasn't winning any really part of
No.
the fight. Even in the clinch,
I
he got
still
beat
think
up.
you know how Silva always like he starts to figure it out and then it turns. I think he was about there.
That's
He
the biggest
whips that
thing.
leg kick in his.
Silva probably lost the first 2 rounds of most of his fights if they went that
a
long.
lot of.
He
them,
never
man.
got dropped in the clinch. The clinch was his
Yeah.
bread and butter. He
Yeah.
like destroyed Franklin in the clinch. I just
But he actually got rid of the clinch a lot after Franklin. He didn't really use the clinch very much after that.
right. Well, I mean, it's just like
But that was the first time you really saw the true purpose of the clinch was in those Franklin fights. Both of them.
Yeah.
Franklin didn't understand what was happening in
Right,
that
he was
Muay Thai
confused,
clinch. He was
yeah.
like, what the fuck? How are you hitting me with every limb when we're in the clinch?
But it's like Akhmedov here. He ran into a class above where he's at, but Weidman, you know, what I mean, it's for Weidman where he's supposed to be. What we're supposed to think of Weidman,
Yeah.
it ain't there no more.
No.
Man.
well, I don't think he'll compete with the top 10. Like
No.
but like I think you guys are shitting on the Weidman that fought Silva a little bit more than he should. He beat Silva twice, and regardless how it happened. He dropped him and he knocked him out in the first fight.
I give him
Regardless
full
of what you
credit
guys
for
are
beating him.
saying,
Yeah.
and he dropped him in the first round of the second fight. So like Silva never really did like.
Yeah.
It's just like he didn't perform, he didn't win. So it's like he
Yeah.
beat him twice. You know, and like the
Oh, he beat
but
him.
that, I mean, yeah, that was definitely the best Weidman
it's weird that he
there ever was.
Like
but-
you compare even the striking then, it's like he never was a great striker, but I feel like Weidman was a force in the cage. He would bully guys and use his
Yeah.
wrestling and striking at his pace.
Yeah.
Now he just can't do that.
He can't
Yeah.
take any punches anymore.
No,
Either. Like,
and his confidence too, like getting
Yeah.
knocked out how many times in a
his
row.
confidence is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you just like that's where he's at physically, that's where he's at mentally, and then he's a way lesser version than he was.
Yeah.
But for a while he was for a year he was a pretty good middleweight. I don't know if the best one in the world.
I still laugh when they said he was one of the best middleweights of all time.
I'd say he's top 15.
should
I mean,
fight Gas.
middleweight.
But best. Like, is that what you're going to say? Top 15 is one of the best of all time?
Well,
with
it's-
how young
yeah.
the sport is?
Shallow pool. You know?
That's what I'm saying. With
Well-
how young the sport is, I think you only got to say like top 5, 6.
Yeah, who cares
But-
about the rest?
But I mean,
Right.
he might be top 10. He was champion. That's more than a lot of guys. Like someone like Romero has never won the championship,
That's true.
and Wyman got there. You know, so it's like
Sometimes that the path to the title
It's
ain't
different.
that
Right.
impressive.
so it's just like, well, what do you gauge more in terms of like legacy? You know what I mean? Like actually winning the championship or actually the wins.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of both. It depends on the fighter, and it's all
Yeah.
contextual too. So
Well, and for the championship, he knocked out the guy that many consider to be the best
crazy.
of all time.
It's crazy he knocked out Silva. Comparing his striking last night, it's
Yeah.
insane if you think about he knocked out
yeah,
Silva.
it's bananas.
Yeah, and like he even the punch.
Old ass Silva would beat the shit out of him if they
I
fought
think
tomorrow.
now,
I think.
yeah.
Whether regardless of what you think happened in the first 2 fights,
Yeah.
the last fight I saw Silva in the last fight I saw Weidman in, I'd put my money on
yeah,
Silva.
but I think
Yeah,
Silva
I
was
probably
gonna
would too,
crack
but
him.
yeah.
I wouldn't have faith of either of them guys nowadays, like
No.
looking good in
Neither
the
of
fight.
them,
You know,
no.
because Silva, it's hard to even gauge where he's at physically. He's
Who
like
knows,
44
yeah.
now, so
yeah.
he's pretty old. But I mean, yeah, Weidman should probably. I think Weidman should maybe fight Shabazian. Feed Weidman Shabazian.
yeah.
Shabazian get a good win, get a good
Yeah.
some
Or
good
Gastelum.
confidence. Well, he already beat Gastelum. Actually,
Yeah,
it's his last
but-
win besides. But Gastelum should actually go to 170. I don't think he should even
Yeah,
be at that
well,
weight class.
This
I don't
fucking
think he's
bug.
gonna.
But how bad is Gastelum? That
Welcome to the
Gastelum lost to.
podcast, Mom.
It's
How
like
are they even getting in?
I'm glad you didn't kill him whenever I asked you. I'm glad you're being truthful.
yeah.
But
I'm not going to kill this one either.
yeah, like it's like how good is Gastelum after Gastelum lost to Chris Weidman? You know what I mean? He got subbed by him, and
Yeah.
like that's just like what the fuck, you know? How good is because like it's all about matchups, so it's hard to
Yeah.
tell how good somebody is, you know?
Right. Which, by the way, we forgot to go to matchups after the last card.
Well,
but that's fine.
let's do
We'll
them
do
all,
yeah,
yeah.
we'll do them all. So Derek Lewis versus Aleski.
Weird fight.
Alexei
Oleinik.
Oleinik.
Man, hold on. Not only weird fight, but even pre-fight, because I was talking to you guys separately
Yeah.
because his messenger doesn't work.
Because I'm a bad rebel man.
He got kicked off of Facebook. But so his Oleinik's stats are insane.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
46 submissions.
Yeah, he's
That's
got like
nuts.
a 92% finish rate.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And the fact that there are that many submissions.
Insane.
What
He
the
has more
He's a-
submissions than
he's
people
a
have
wild
fights.
card, man. He's a wild card. You never know what's gonna happen with him.
Yeah,
man.
well, man, and he'll put people in positions like I don't think anybody else in the world would have put any fighter in the world in the position that he had him in with like a headlock and was going to choke him
Yeah.
off his chest.
I think just about anybody else he would have had him, but I think Lewis is just too big to squeeze for him.
he was like I couldn't breathe that whole time.
Yeah. He said that he didn't want his kids to to tease him after because he was gurgling on TV. He couldn't tap out, so his kids would tease him if he tapped out.
Yeah, but I think if Lewis was any smaller, he'd have squeezed him. But I don't think he could get enough.
Yeah.
I was
pressure
actually
around him.
frustrated in the first round. Like I don't know why Lewis was even engaging in the grappling scenarios.
I didn't either, but I don't know why he was. But he honestly, for if he was fighting other fighters on the ground, he didn't look bad.
No,
Oleinik was able to catch him, but I was very surprised by how decent his.
He's
ground
underrated.
game was.
He's underrated in terms of like he seems like just a brawler, but he's like he has all these attributes
He's
that make
very
him better.
well-rounded.
Yeah.
He gets better every
I think
fucking fight.
he's trying to take fights other places too and learn. I
yeah.
think. But he
Does he not get better every fucking fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, some fights though he looks like I don't know, like in the JDS fight and the Hunt fight, like those are winnable fights. It's just like he performs worse than he should. Like even the Volkov fight where he won,
Yeah.
he looked like shit until he won.
But actually, we should say this. I think we can all agree it was the best shape we've ever seen Derek Lewis in.
Yeah.
he actually disagreed with you on that. I agree.
You don't think he's in better shape?
He said no, this is not the best shape I've ever been in, but it's better than my last fight.
He's
That's what he
trimmed down.
Yeah.
He gets. I mean,
He's crazy.
He's getting in better shape.
I remember
every
his first fight
fight
on one of the Ultimate Fighter finale shows. He wasn't in the Ultimate
Right.
Fighter, but he was on. And
He was big.
He was huge.
Right.
Like,
He's getting in better
and not
shape
in shape
every fight.
huge. He was just huge. And man, that high kick he threw,
Yeah, right at the beginning.
Yeah, it was nice.
how fast did he look?
Yeah.
He looked way faster than he has
He's
in the
getting
past.
better, man. I like Derek Lewis.
I
I like him a lot.
I feel like that's like one of the best attributes about him is that like he's very athletic in bursts. He doesn't
Yeah.
really fight like that the whole fight, but
Yeah.
he'll burst
But he'll
fast.
surprise you
right.
with one. Yeah,
well, and
real
honestly,
quick.
unlike other people, when he throws those big looping punches, he looks directly where he wants to hit.
Yeah.
He
Right.
doesn't look away. He doesn't duck. He looks directly where he wants to hit. Eyes huge, growling.
It was just frustrating though that he kept engaging in the grappling.
Yeah,
'cause,
like, don't do that.
He'd
Just
knock
don't.
him down and then like
Just stay away from him.
he'd be on
Yeah.
his knees with him, and it's like, dude, just get out of there. Dude.
Yeah.
Just
This is the only way he
because
could
you're
win.
cracking him every time, and then second
Yeah.
round opens up, and he just he cracks him.
But
Right.
Oleinik did have him. It looked like trouble for a little while. He had that weird
Yeah.
like bulldog headlock
Right.
choke up
That's
against
what
his chest.
that's what Lewis said. He said he had me in the British Bulldog choke.
yeah.
and it's like the fact that he called it that, not even a name that's even a BJJ name, is hilarious.
Yeah.
Just like
Modified
Bulldog.
is a modified British bulldog.
And I don't even think the British Bulldog was known
No.
for headlocks. I'm
No.
pretty sure he was known for lifting people over his head.
I think he did that running, like he'd get you in a headlock.
Yeah,
and
he did,
run
yeah.
And
Oh,
plant you on
okay,
your
yeah,
face.
that's so funny. He's also
A lot of
What-
wrestling today. We were talking about.
well, they asked him like whether or not like what matchups like in the division excited him. He said he doesn't watch them. He doesn't like it. He just does it as a job. So
yeah.
Derek
Andy
Lewis?
said he's not going to take another fight till he gets down to 250.
What's he at?
like he said he wants to lose like 15 pounds.
Yeah.
He's at 265.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's he's
I
it's
think
just a weird
Derek
fight.
Lewis could be scary if he got real trimmed, dude. He's got speed, and
And-
like
This was the fastest he ever looked, and to me he was faster by leap and bounds.
Yeah.
I
Like
was
that
a-
explosiveness was just more.
I was afraid that he was gonna because he was trying to bait. Oleinik was trying to bait him on top because he's gotten I think twice now in the UFC where he'll bait you on top into a mount and he'll choke you from
does
mount.
the Ezekiel?
Yeah, and that's actually the most badass.
He
submission
had
I
him
could
in
think
it
of.
a little bit, but like I think, like I said,
Derek
I think Lewis
got
is
out.
just
Too
too
strong.
big.
Too
Yeah.
strong.
And he's gotten better. I really do.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? How fast he was, how explosive he was. Also, the first burst that he had and then went to the ground with him, typically, old Derek Lewis, after that, wouldn't have had the gas tank for that
Yeah,
same
to
kind of
keep-
rush he did in the second round.
Right,
Yeah.
He
come
wouldn't
out
have had
with
that
a flat.
gas tank.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have. He just looked all around better, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
really did.
Oleinik had nothing for him. Derek Lewis's power was overwhelming for
Yeah.
Oleinik.
I feel kind of bad for Oleinik because he's so old and
Yeah.
like it's
He's
hard.
good.
He looks like
really
a Bond
good.
villain.
Yeah,
He's
and like
really good though. Like he's on
He's
the
great.
ground he's great.
It was crazy seeing what
Honestly,
he was doing.
Maybe like even rivals Verdum at heavyweight as far as grappling
Submission.
on the ground.
Yeah.
Verdum has probably better wins,
All
but he has
around.
more
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
But it's like when you think about like archetypical like old man strength, dude, that's literally
That's
the
the guy.
the strongest old man. Like he just looks
Baling
like
hay all day.
he just has like built-in like
Well, and
hay muscles, you know.
And honestly, right there, does he not look like a Bond villain?
Yeah.
He looks like a Bond villain.
I would not want to like I'd be afraid of. He just looks like he's strong as shit. Like he just is gonna like choke you to death.
And honestly, I'm way more scared to fight a BJJ guy than I am like a good striker because
You could maneuver striking. to
it's
some
like
extent.
I have some experience in striking,
Yeah,
that
you'd be
even
tied
though it's
up.
nothing.
You'd be tied up before you
BJJ, I have
know it.
zero experience in. This guy's gonna choke me out fast.
and he's just gonna manhandle you, and you can't do.
There's
Yeah,
nothing.
you're
I'm
dead
gonna,
after
I'm
that.
gonna have zero offense.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, please don't hurt me, guy.
I
I'll,
feel like
I'll take your punches, man. but
I
you
feel like
put me
there's
asleep. There's nothing I can do.
Right.
I feel like there's some fundamental striking you can pick up on and defend pretty okay.
Yeah.
BJJ though, it's just like if you don't know it, there's
fucked.
nothing you do to attack back.
Well,
There's
and
nothing.
I know it enough, like that. I know it enough just from watching it, never practicing, but that I can call out somebody's going for a submission before the commentator does.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean I know how to do it or defend it.
Yeah, your
I
muscles
can
like-
just
won't
see
know
it coming.
I like
I can
the-
just see it
The analogy of like
from the outside. If
with
I was on
B-
the inside, I'd have no
The
idea.
analogy
no
with
clue.
BJJ I like is if I know BJJ and you don't, like, this is the ocean, I'm a shark, and you don't know how to swim.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just that
true, though.
simple.
I like how Joe Rogan describes it. He says it's a chess match that goes on forever. It never stops till somebody is choked out.
Right. Well, because I've seen the videos of people like I've seen Ryan Hall, that the fighter, subdue some guy, and like he literally just got him in full mount. And the dude just like, what can you fucking do if Ryan Hall's in full mount? He's a BJJ black belt.
Yeah.
And like you could literally
God,
mobilize
this is
anybody in the world that don't know about grappling. And I feel like there's a certain level of like athleticism. Like if you took a raw athletic big guy, he could probably fuck up somebody smaller that is a practitioner. But I wouldn't bet on it. It just depends. Because some guys, I was actually thinking about it. Some guys are naturally just fighters. They're just bad. They're just bad dudes. They don't have any training. They've been in street fights.
Ngannou.
Well, yeah.
And
Well,
like-
have you seen that guy? This is one of my favorite things to show BJJ. That guy that's like, he's super in shape, and he has these random YouTube videos. One that is very popular, that he just goes around and starts trying to fight BJJ guys.
Does he get beat?
He gets choked out every time.
Because he just
Yeah, and the good part is he's not really a dick about it. He doesn't actually try to throw real punches.
ever
He
see-
slaps with them.
yeah.
Like,
You
he
ever
goes
see,
in there like he's a real dick, like a cocky football dick.
Yeah.
And he really does try to win, and he gets choked out every time, but he never tries to, like, throw a real punch. Like, he goes into their dojo during a practice,
Right.
and he'll, like, throw some smacks, but they smack him back, and he never loses his cool. He's cool about it, but he goes in there and tries to act like
Right.
a hard ass at the same time.
You ever
And he gets
see-
choked out every
you
time.
ever see
That's-
Charlie
a girl
Zelenik?
choked him out. A small girl.
Yeah, I believe it.
You ever
Yeah.
see Charlie Zelenik?
Oh, dude, he's
That
the
boxer.
worst.
The boxer
fucking
kid.
dick.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's
Guy.
the funniest shit in the world.
Yeah.
Didn't he like Tyson? He let Tyson Fury he didn't let
Anthony,
Tyson Fury. knock him
Anthony
out.
Joshua.
Anthony
He fought
Joshua.
him, and
That's
Anthony
it.
Joshua like smoked him, and like he just got hit with
Yeah.
two punches, dude.
Wilder.
It was
It was
Wilder.
Wilder.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
Wilder.
Wilder.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Wilder. And Wilder wasn't playing. He was
Yeah.
upset.
Dude, he was
He
He
swinging
got out of
bombs.
the he got out of the ring and
Chased him.
Wilder still went at him. But then after that, they say he's one of Mike Tyson's kids. I don't think he is, but this kid is in
Oh, the
high
kid-
school.
The kid that beats him up in the gym for a
Yeah,
while.
he's in high school and fights MMA, and he beat the fuck out
Yeah,
of
he's
that
chasing
dude.
him around the gym.
I hate
and
that
shit.
guy.
He chased him around the gym
God,
too.
dude.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Hell-
Like, there's got to be something mentally wrong there. You know what I mean? Like, something's
Oh
up.
yeah, it's like pathetic.
Well, I'll tell you
actually.
what, he does have balls because the
He's
people,
actually not a bad. He's actually not that bad at boxing.
No.
He could beat untrained people pretty easily.
Yes, he does it.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. He has balls because most of the guys, like if you watch his other videos besides those two, the reason he ends up in this situation with these two actual fighters is because he was walking up to people,
Yeah,
giving
just
them
crap.
boxing gloves,
Say, hey, you wanna
and
spar?
they would think it was like a fun little YouTube thing, and then he
Yeah,
would actually
yeah,
really go at
fuck
him.
Yeah.
him up.
And so for an untrained person, yeah, he's gonna fuck him up all day. But honestly, even me, untrained, if he would have ever hit me like that,
I'd smash
I'm
him.
fucking that dude up. I'm
Yeah,
taking him
I'm-
to the ground. I'm beating.
Yeah,
the
I'm not
shit
even
out
Charlie
of
boxing
Zelenik.
anymore.
him. No, I'm taking you to the ground. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah. I think it's entertaining. I laugh my ass off at some of the
Kyle, do you
videos.
remember that picture I sent you whenever it was like, there's 4 people. Who would you pick in a fight? It was like Bas Rutten, Bruce Lee, John Jones, and Mike Tyson. Who would win? And I saw post after post of like Bruce Lee would smoke all of
Yeah,
them.
people
Like,
are
dude,
delusional, dude.
like what the fuck? Like John
So
Jones.
It's
is,
of course Boss Rutten with the Kya!
It's
Yeah.
of course. Honestly, it is Boss Rutten.
John Jones would probably be.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
John Jones on the list?
Yeah, John Jones,
Oh,
Tyson.
John Jones,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like,
Yeah,
what would
it-
Bruce Lee even do to John Jones?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Like he would get taken down instantly and smashed.
Same with Bass Rutten.
Same
Yeah,
with
and
Mike
even Mike Tyson would like. would a punch by Bruce Lee even affect Mike Tyson?
I might give him a chance against Mike Tyson just because
Striking.
of how fast and it's all striking.
But-
Yeah, but
Bass Rutten, John Jones, they're gonna
I think
fuck you up.
Tyson's gonna throw a punch, and whatever Bruce Lee tries to put in front of it is getting caved in, and his head's getting.
I'm not sure he would get close enough to Mike Tyson for him to do that. I actually just watched a fight today with Mike Tyson against this white dude.
Prime Mike Tyson was scary.
Yeah,
he just was.
Prime Mike Tyson was scary, but he was fighting this white dude, and he was still definitely in really good shape. He still didn't have gray hair. He was still a legitimate boxer, but I think it was after jail. But this dude was tagging him up. Not only was he tagging him up, he was a out of shape white dude. He was leaving his hands down.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't even have his hands.
He was
up.
on the
He
same
was
fighter
just
after a while.
tagging him. Yeah, he was still in really good shape though.
Yeah, yeah.
really good
But
shape.
just-
And Tyson ended up knocking him out.
Well, what about this Tyson Roy Jones? They're saying that
I
they're
don't
saying that they ain't even gonna be allowed to knock each other out.
Do you hear what
What's kinda-
Tyson said though?
Yeah, but what?
I said I'm going for a knockout.
That's a hype.
Why would
Let's
they
get that-
even say?
No, I think Tyson's gonna knock him out.
Why? What are they even saying? Why?
Why even say that? It
Yeah.
leads to less buys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think Tyson's gonna knock
but
him
in
out.
that-
I
in
think
that-
it's gonna be vicious.
And that
Yeah.
I was on Facebook and someone posted that picture I mentioned, and like someone posted a Boss Rutan highlight video, and this guy commented. He was like, yeah, I see a lot of holes in his game that Bruce Lee can exploit. And I literally posted, I posted the Chuck Norris fight from Game of Death, and I'm like, yeah, I see a lot of holes where Boss Rutan get. And he's like, that's a movie though. I'm like, well, that's the only footage
That's
we
the
have.
only fucking.
Yeah.
Like,
What other
all we
footage
got.
do you have of Bruce Lee?
yeah, that's what like you're dissecting someone's actual fighting versus like nothing.
Not-
You know,
Bruce
Yeah.
Lee is absolutely instrumental in the.
I agree.
in the
Yeah.
pursuit of martial arts.
Yeah.
He had a great
His
mind.
philosophy birthed MMA.
Yeah,
Like,
but
we
no.
don't know if he could have actually applied it in a fight.
and he weighed
And I-
120 pounds.
And I
dude.
think in any MMA fight with any decent MMA fighter, he's gonna get fucking mauled.
Yeah, dude, I would take a Division II wrestler to,
Yeah.
to slam him on
a
a skull.
college guy. Yeah.
Just to slam him on a skull. Like he was so little, and like there's no way he'd know what to do on the
Bruce
ground.
Lee
There's
weighs
just no
120
way.
pounds. man.
Yeah. Well, actually, he might do all right. He'd be at what? Mighty Mouse's.
Mighty Mouse would
Mighty
fuck
Mouse
him up.
would fuck him
Mighty
up.
Mouse would fuck him up, but what about the rest of the guys?
Henry Cejudo would
Yeah.
fuck him up.
Yeah.
Henry Cejudo,
Well, but-
Figueiredo,
Yeah.
and then after that,
And
well,
Garbrandt.
actually, Askarov, from
Dude,
what I
would
saw.
fuck him up too.
Garbrandt.
Yeah.
Well, all these dudes, like you think about Garbrandt. Garbrandt doesn't wrestle, but Garbrandt would fuck him up on the ground. He just
He's
would.
fast, dude.
He'd come in and like take him down. He was a wrestler.
I wanna piss real quick.
Yeah, he trains it. So it's like, I mean, these guys know what's up. They know
Yeah.
he can't stop a takedown nor defend himself on the ground.
Yeah, Bruce Lee's legend is all built from movies
And-
and,
and I
shit.
don't-
And like him telling all these hipsters in LA, like, I could put a man down in
One punch, 1-inch punch, and
Yeah,
it's like
they all spread his legend. That's just all it is.
it's the same thing as like people running at Steven Seagal, so Steven Seagal could
Yeah.
flip them. Well,
Dude.
why are you just running at him? Like,
Yeah,
what's
well,
going on here?
Steven
you know?
Seagal practiced on his wife
Steven-
a lot. You know,
Yeah.
beat her up, slapped
Multiple
her.
wives. He was like a
Yeah.
polygamist or whatever.
Yeah.
But Steven Seagal actually actually thinks he could
You
fuck
think you
somebody
could beat
up.
up 8 women at once? It's Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
man.
He could. Well, every character of Steven Seagal is the same dude. It's just
Yeah.
like
He's a chef or an Indian chef.
or like a fucking cop who's Italian and
Right.
perfect character, no
Yeah.
character flaws, just a badass Italian cop. And, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I used to love his movies when I was little though. They were fucking pretty.
Yeah, they were my favorite. I think out of all like out of Van Damme and Chuck Norris
Dude.
and anybody, I think Steven Seagal's movies were my favorite. Especially the first, like Above the Law and
Out for Justice
Out for
was
Justice.
that's the best one.
And I think I like Above the Law. But
Mark
yeah,
for
Out
Death too. Mark for Death.
Yeah, and then all the way up till Under
And
Siege, man. They were
After
all
that, it
good.
was like, man, I don't care about him
Yeah, they were
fighting
pretty
Indian
terrible
dudes or
after
whatever.
that.
But the bar scene in Out for Justice is the best scene. Of
Yeah,
his.
dude, he whips the pool ball. And
Yeah.
it's the shit,
And
man.
there's just some random Asian guy who could fight with sticks there.
Yeah.
His name is Sticks as well, though.
Yeah, dude. What the funniest fucking thing about Steven Seagal movies is watching him run. He
Yeah,
runs
he's like a
so
girl.
good. Like,
He runs like a
arms
girl. I mean, no
flapping.
offense to. He runs worse than.
You ever
you'd
seen
expect him.
Steven Seagal run? You ever watch his old movies and watch him run?
He's trying to move the wind with his
hand.
hand.
She
repels him. He goes like this. He goes like this. He's scooping
It's
the
the
wind.
worst
and
running.
pushing it back.
Yeah, dude.
He's fast.
Makes
though.
him more aerodynamic when he fights.
Flailing his arms all
We were
about.
just talking about how ridiculous, like that the Out for Justice fight scene where he fights the whole bar and the
Yeah,
dude
with
knows
the
how to
cue
fight with
ball.
sticks, and he's like, and then, he hits his cue ball, and then the guy's like, "You knocked my fucking teeth out," and he hits
Yeah.
him again, and just like busts his shit in.
I
Like,
Listen, not only do I think Steven Seagal is actually a semi-impressive martial artist,
yeah, he is. Yeah,
I also think that he is the reason that Anderson Silva front kicked Vitor Belfort
That's what I
in the
heard,
face.
yeah.
Did you heard the story about Gene LaBelle making him shit his pants or whatever?
Yeah, I heard
You
that.
never heard that? You never heard that?
Pretty good.
Is Gene LaBelle the guy that... who's the guy that whatchamacallit was supposed to be playing in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I'm not
Brad Pitt. Is that Gene LaBelle?
Yeah, I think it's like
I
yeah,
got
it's
a piss
something
too, though.
maybe based around him or something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he is supposed to be.
Bean,
Gene
can you
LaBelle.
try to look that up real quick? Who is Brad Pitt playing in Once Upon a Time in China? Not the actual
Hollywood.
character name. Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The Once Upon a Time in China is with Jet Li.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. You ever seen Once
Not
Upon
warm-
a Time in
yeah.
the West?
But that's not the... He's based on somebody else. That's the guy's name, but he's based on somebody else.
Or it's either that or like the Bruce Lee scene with him is based on Bruce Lee and Gene LaBelle's encounter. Or
Right,
something
I think
like
it's
that.
something like that, which to me showed the perfect example of what would happen to Bruce Lee if somebody grabbed him.
Yeah, chucks him against the car. Honestly, I'm a huge Tarantino fan, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'm not into.
So it's modeled off Tom Laughlin's portrayal of Billy Jack. I thought I heard Gene LaBelle.
No, there's something. You're right. There is something with Gene LaBelle
Yeah.
that is supposed to be in that movie. I can't remember exactly what it is.
All right, we just go back. We actually got to go through. So go to the first fight card we looked at, and we got to see who the bottom fighter is. God, I feel so much better after that piss break. I feel like just woke up.
Bottom.
No, so not that one. So Bobby Green. We're going to see who Bobby Green is going to fight next. So that is lightweight.
Yeah, the ranking.
We'll wait till Brandon gets back till we actually get into this. But
Lightweight is all right there.
It's the top 15. Nobody on there. He's not fighting any of those dudes.
Well,
Donald Cerrone.
yeah. I don't know that Cerrone's even. I mean, he's gonna want to fight more, but how much longer?
Yeah, but he's not fighting anybody in that top 15. He's
Right.
not fighting Judover. He's not fighting
talking
Darush.
Bobby Green.
Bobby Green.
Can he fight anybody in the top 15? Probably not.
We over there on the left, right? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish these were top 20.
He can maybe fight Al Quinta. He needs to fight.
They ain't gonna push him up that far.
No, that's so
He's
far.
not fighting.
But also, who is Ally Quinta going to fight?
I don't know. It just I always can't tell if a fighter will take
Charles
a fight.
Oliveira.
Too. Charles Oliveira's like top 5, is
Yeah.
it?
He's being sarcastic as fuck.
Well, I mean,
Oliveira needs a big
the
fight,
thing
dude.
with Oliveira is who's Oliveira gonna fight in the top 4? You know, nobody's taking that fight with Oliveira.
Because he's dangerous.
If Oliveira fights Al Quinta and wins, he becomes maybe undeniable.
Oh, yeah. Well, no,
You
we
know?
were talking about Bobby Green, though.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but you
Ally
poo-pooed
Quinta,
on,
yeah,
you
yeah,
poo-pooed
yeah.
on that fight. And I mean, yeah, I was kind of joking, but if you think about it, what
Dan
is
Hooker. I mean, he can fight Dan Hooker now, right?
Yeah.
Dan Hooker's he's coming off a loss. He should be fighting Oliveira.
Oliveira
Ol-
might have to fight some guys below him just to become undeniable to the top.
Well,
4.
Oliveira has,
Truthfully, Tony Ferguson should fight him, but he's not
probably,
going to.
yeah, but he
well,
might.
these dudes are all so big and they're so far in their career and so like such a stature that they won't take behind fights. You
Yeah.
know, it's just
Yeah.
like the top 5 is full of dudes who just want to fight each other and that's it.
Well, Hooker, he's not that.
You have
No,
to,
no, he needs to. Well, he wants to fight Ferguson.
You have to become Tony Ferguson and win 12 fucking
But didn't
fights.
Hooker just lose? Well,
Right.
I mean, Ferguson lost too, but no, I would rather see Charles Olivier versus Ferguson.
Well, Oliveira has
Oliveira.
Olivier.
He has-
Lawrence Olivier.
Lawrence Olivier.
he has the most submission wins ever in UFC, more than Damian Maia and more than Royce Gracie.
And he's sick on his feet.
And he's 30 years old.
And he's sick on his
Yeah,
feet.
like
Yeah. I was a big fan. Like when he came out, I was like, man, this
He's
kid's
seen us-
impressive. He kind of went through like
He needs some time to put it
trials
together.
and shit, but
But
yeah.
his last fight was fucking.
Yeah.
Who did he fight last?
Kevin Lee beat the shit out
Beat
of
the
him.
shit out of
Yeah.
him.
Choked him out too.
But
yeah.
I'm saying that's probably all there is on the for Oliveira is like fighting a guy like Al Quinta. I mean, he's gonna have to Tony Ferguson his way up there. Where
Him
he wins
or
12
Hooker, but
because
Hooker's
he's not big
gonna-
enough to.
Yeah, he's gonna have to win 12 fucking.
But
fights.
Hooker's not going to want to fight him.
No, because he's dangerous and he'll probably fuck up Hooker.
I feel like Ferguson might be dumb enough to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Ferguson would probably beat him. I think there's a good possibility of that. But Ferguson is such a crazy man that he's not going to care that it's such a drop
Yeah.
back.
He said he's only fighting Poirier, Khabib, or Conor. That's all he's fighting. He said that in an interview with Errol Hawani. So
Actually, where the fuck is Poirier?
2.
Another 2. Okay.
But why is Donald Cerrone still in the top 15? He hasn't won at a lightweight in
Yeah.
Why is
forever.
Conor McGregor in top?
Yeah,
He has
that's
one
why
of the
I just
top 5,
ignored
yeah.
Conor McGregor on there.
I don't
did.
think he's even a relevant fighter in the division.
Yeah.
Really, unless
Dana
he's
White
signed
said
to
there's
fight.
no way he's fighting today, as far as he's concerned, or this year.
Yeah.
He said he as far as he's concerned, his retirement is real.
He hasn't won at
We'll
155
see,
since
dude.
2016.
Yeah.
That's insane that he's even up there.
The sad part is I like watching Conor McGregor fight, but
He
he's
just-
got enough money. He
I
never has
read
to fight
I
again.
just read an article by like Ariel Oleinik talking about how the UFC's biggest failure is Conor right now, because Conor, you know what I mean, the beginning of the year came out, fought Cowboy, wanted to fight 4 times a year. You got a guy who's the sport's biggest draw, who's begging for a fight, and you can't find a fight for him.
But do you think part of that is on Conor though?
I think so. It's
Part
a
of
little
it
bit.
is, yeah, but I mean,
People
it's-
call him out all the time. Justin Gaethje called him out.
Other card being
Well, Justin Gaethje called him out before he even fought Cowboy.
The other
Justin
card.
Gaethje been calling him out since
that
last year.
should have been the fight, leading
Right.
up.
So, but he chose Cowboy. So, like,
Yeah.
you're not putting yourself in a position in the
Yeah.
division by choosing Cowboy instead of Justin Gaethje. If
Right.
you beat Gaethje earlier this year instead of Cowboy,
Yeah.
you'd have a lot
you
more
have
credence.
to fight Khabib after
Right.
that,
So,
yeah.
like, he could have had a better position. He just
Right.
chose to take an easier fight, I believe.
right.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Gaethje, that'd have been a good fight. That'd have been a closer fight than Cowboy.
Yeah, for sure.
And, like,
But honestly, that Cowboy shit was the craziest shit I ever saw in my life. I've
Right.
never seen that impactful shoulder strikes in my entire life.
right.
But I think
You could hear them
it's a diminished
when there was still a
Cowboy.
crowd.
So
Yeah,
how
and
much
like-
does it really mean?
I don't care. You
know.
could hear. Don't get me wrong. I agree with that. But we have never seen shoulder strikes like that. Literally,
Yeah.
when there was still a crowd,
Right.
you could hear them.
Yeah.
They were popping.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What? How does that
And,
happen?
Yeah, he came out ferocious, dude. like,
But I've seen Cowboy overwhelmed like that before.
so have I. Yeah.
Yeah, like RDA did that in their title fight
Yeah.
back.
I'm
in,
just
like,
saying,
2000. Yeah, I mean, I
Never
I,
say anything like that.
I agree. Yeah, and like I think that was as good as performance as Conor was gonna put on that night. So
Yeah.
credit to him.
yeah.
And like it just like I would like to see the Gaethje fight because that shows whenever Cowboy doesn't mean anything really anymore.
I think if Gaethje beats Khabib,
Well, it would have been better back then, but obviously there's no
if
there's no
Gaethje,
Gaethje.
if Gaethje
Right.
beats Khabib, I think Conor tries to take that Gaethje fight because
I agree, and
Yeah,
he might get it.
I think he would rather the path of least resistance
Yeah.
resistance to the title.
And he might get it unless they give Khabib like an immediate rematch.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he might get it because who else are they going to put up against?
Right.
Well-
And what else is going to be a bigger draw? And
Right.
it's going to be for the belt, so Connor's definitely going
He's
to
in-
take that
yeah,
fight.
he's in.
it's funny because like Cowboy no, but Conor. I like Gaethje more than Conor as a fighter in person, but I think Conor matches up well with Gaethje in terms of how they fight.
Yeah,
Like,
completely
they-
It's an
agree.
they think he
exciting
can
fight.
I completely agree on both points. I actually love Conor because I understand he acts like an asshole, but down to it, when you hear him talk about most things when he's not promoting a fight, he seems like a pretty regular guy.
Yeah.
He made some mistakes, but you know,
What are you
people
gonna
do
do?
dumb shit when you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
But the
Fill up my drink.
yeah, what do you want here?
Whatever.
All right, let's go with this. It's got a little banana flavor to it. But what the fuck was I gonna say? But after Gaethje's last fight against Tony Ferguson,
He's a good dude and a monster.
he's a good dude, and I'm a massive fan. I was a fan of him before that, even, but like he was just so clean and precise in that fight, just so clean and
like
precise.
I don't think if Conor doesn't get him out there early, I think Gaethje drowns him and like just him being
Yeah.
there still because Conor just his gas tank will never be good. His gas tank wasn't good, and I don't have faith in his ability to get his gas tank better.
Yeah, well,
because he, first of all, I don't think he could do road work. He can't run.
I think if there's a crowd, Conor McGregor fucks him up. I think Gaethje's actually going to end up being a better fighter without a crowd than with a crowd.
I think it's as hard as he was a good fighter before that though.
He was.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
And like
I just think the reason we saw that display we saw against Tony Ferguson was partially because there was no crowd. Because I think he's somebody that does get that adrenaline rush from the crowd and loses a little bit and ends up in these crazy brawls. He didn't end up in a brawl in that Tony Ferguson. He was clean and precise the whole time,
Yeah.
landing seriously massive power
Yeah.
punches.
Yeah, I mean, he showed a step up in his game. If he's able to keep that as a part of his game where he doesn't get caught in these wild exchanges. Like,
Right.
I mean I would need to see him
Dangerous.
fight recently soon with a crowd to verify or
Yeah.
you know it's hard to account for that. It's just so you don't
I
know.
would say I need to say that because
Yeah.
I've only have
one fight.
one fight.
Hopefully,
you know what I mean?
either way, hopefully that last fight is enough to make him realize I can't let the crowd affect me.
Yeah,
regardless.
yeah.
I don't think the crowd affected him as much. I mean, it probably did, but also his mindset was different fighting those fights too. That he,
I agree with that.
Like he just didn't care whether or not he was knocked out. He even said
He
it.
wanted to put on the wildest show.
Right, and then he actually got better. He knocked out James Vick pretty well, Barboza. So
Yeah.
and he knocked out Cowboy before Conor knocked out Cowboy. So it's
Yeah.
like he stayed composed in his fights as long as he needed to, and didn't do the same thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, next fight if there's a crowd and he fights how he used to, there'd probably be a little more, a little more there. But I actually just assume his striking has gotten a lot better. He's training with different people. So
Yeah. They seem to be good coaches too. I listened to him talk on Joe Rogan podcast. He seems like the coach is really good. He got tired of focusing on so many fighters. He wanted to concentrate on less fighters and help them be the best they can be.
Right.
So what it's
So Vincent Luque.
Vincente Luque.
He needs another step up in welterweight. 'cause
I would
he's
say
Damian
Maia.
Pettis, Robbie Lawler.
I like
No,
to
he's
see him
got-
versus
well,
RDA actually.
He's got to go up, I think. So.
Oh no, he's there. I'm sorry. I thought he was out of the top 15.
Damian
That's
Maia.
my fault.
I think Damian Maia
Is
would
he
be.
even still going to be a fighter?
Yeah, maybe, but Stephen Thompson.
He already lost to him though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to.
But that's a good comeback.
But
fight for him.
Stephen
Yeah.
Thompson should probably be fighting somebody. Stephen Thompson's trying to fight Colby, which would also be a good fight.
But Colby's already in a fight.
Not really.
Oh, it's not for
no,
sure.
no.
Oh well.
I
Yeah.
just don't think Thompson has done anything that makes him deserve to be climbing right now. Like.
Well, he's number 6, so it's just like he's in the rankings though.
Yeah, but I think Thompson, I think he's in the position where you have to fight a guy who's on the rise. If you can stop him, then you're going up.
I want
If
that
you can't-
Masvidal.
Well, he already stopped. He already beat Luque. That's all I'm saying.
When?
What?
How long ago?
Thompson's last fight was against Luque, and he won. So
Oh, really?
you can't rematch as soon as
That's true.
you beat a guy.
Well, dude, Luque's fought
Why don't-
3 times, 2 or 3 times.
Right, he's
since
more
then?
active, but I mean, it doesn't make sense for
For him, then Dos Anjos, Chiesa, or Maya.
right. I mean, like
Maya's,
this on used to be a good fight because both of them like to strike.
Maybe Maya, just so you're not in another war immediately. I mean, he's been in a lot of
I
battles.
think Luque would fuck him up though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know
he's
if
in a
that would
battle.
be a competition.
Maya probably should just retire. He's
Yes.
like 41.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much to prove. But yeah, it's I hate when there's fighters like
Tyron Woodley, but Woodley's got to fight, right?
no, he doesn't.
I
He was
thought-
supposed to fight Colby, but the fight fell apart.
So Luque versus Woodley. Fuck
Yeah.
it. I mean, Woodley's on a sharp decline. Like,
Yeah, I really want that fucking Masvidal Colby Covington fight.
yeah.
All right, so Derek Brunson, what weight class
He's
is he in?
middleweight.
Well,
He's a
Jennifer
step up.
Maya, she's fighting.
Yeah, she's
Shevchenko.
gonna fight Shevchenko.
Yeah.
He's a middleweight. He needs another step up too. He could do the Romero versus Hall, loser or winner, and it'd be all right. Or Darren Till,
Who are we on now?
Derek
Brunson.
Brunson.
Okay.
He needs to fight Darren Till or the winner of Romero and Hall.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Till would be a good fight for. I
mean-
like the Till fight. for
Her
Brunson.
I like the till tight for Brunson. I think
Yeah,
Brunson
yeah.
can put that pressure on him, like
I like
low
it for-
output fighter.
I like it
You
for
know what
both
I
of
mean?
them.
Low output striker.
I mean, Hermanson wants to fight Till too, so I think it's probably a better bet with Romero versus
I like
Hall.
it. I like the Till fight for both Brunson and Till because look at Till's last. Well, Till's probably out for a while with the.
Yeah, and
But
Brunson
look
probably
at-
could fight pretty
Look
recently.
at Till's last fight with Whitaker. You know, what I mean, he had trouble with the amount of output that
Yeah.
Whitaker was. So Brunson's not going to give you that output. I don't know. I mean,
I think Till's the better fight for him, even out of the loser of Romero Hall.
Well, he already. It's weird because like he lost to Romero and he beat Hall. He knocked out Hall, which is crazy.
yeah.
But like, I think either of the options depends on how it shakes out in terms of like the winner, how long they're out for in that fight
Right.
next month. So it's just like, well, it depends on how the division shakes out. But
Yeah.
there's tons of good matchups in that division for him. So I
Yeah.
think he's not going to be. It just Till's out for at least probably
Yeah.
9 months.
It depends on when he wants another fight.
And let's go. Let's go
Well, he
ahead.
could also maybe even fight Jack Hermanson because Jack
Yeah.
Hermanson needs to fight if
That's
Till's
true.
out.
Yeah.
But Jack Hermanson might
But
fight.
if I'm Hermanson, I'm trying to get to the number 1 contender spot. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually should be fighting.
Robert Whitaker.
Well, isn't it going to be Cannon?
Yeah, oh yeah. Actually, yeah. Whitaker is going to be fighting Cannonier.
Cannonier, yeah.
He could fight the
Number
winner
one
of that
spot.
fight.
Well,
Probably
that
loser.
Cannonier Hermanson fight's going to be a number 1 contender. So.
Yeah.
But like, why does I mean,
No, the Cannonier Whitaker fight's gonna be number 1 contender.
Oh,
Yeah, probably, yeah.
exactly.
he could fight the loser of that fight, and
Loser I think is the way to go.
Yeah.
He was already knocked out by Cannonier though, so it's like,
But still,
Well,
I mean, at that
yeah.
point,
Sometimes you
Cannonier
run
needs a
back
win.
into
to
each
Clogged
each
up,
other.
yeah.
Yeah.
well, I think Cannonier is going to beat Whitaker actually,
I do too.
Yeah.
just because I didn't think Whitaker looked that good,
No.
and I think that just the power of Cannonier and the accuracy is going to be too much for Whitaker, and he's a little bit diminished.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
All right,
It's a
so,
good fight though, actually.
so next is we can just leave it right there. Yeah. Benil
Dariush.
Dariush.
He should be fighting Well,
Dance
Gregor.
around, buddy.
Actually, I'd like to see him fight
I'd
Kevin,
like to see him take a decent jump.
Kevin
Yeah.
Lee.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Kevin
Yeah.
Lee needs a win.
Feed Kevin Lee.
They're both physical fighters. I think Kevin Lee, is a good fight for him. He can
Yeah,
probably win.
I think Dariush probably wins.
I
it
hope
too.
anybody
Yeah.
that can fucking crush Kevin Lee's skull in.
Yeah, I think that's. I think that's a fight I would actually like to see. I don't even think I want to discuss anybody else. I really like Dariush. I think
Yeah.
that's a nice step up. If not, maybe Al Quinta.
Or
Yeah.
Islam
Either
Makhachev needs a
one-
fight too.
Either one of those, Kevin Lee.
I think Islam
Kevin-
Makhachev beats
But
Dariush though.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think Dariush has a decent star power right now, not because of his
Yeah.
personality, but because of he's on a 4-fight win streak. He's
Right.
been ending people.
Yeah, he's at a real good spot right now. Like it's if I'm him, I'm trying to get a fight quick. While there's still some
Some juice.
Yeah, so while you got some stuff surrounding your name, I think it's time for him to try to
Actually,
capitalize.
Kevin Lee just tore his other ACL, so
Oh,
he's
so
out.
he's
for,
out.
Yeah, so that's
Ally
actually
Quinta then is
or
probably-
Islam Makhachev, who's actually streaking too. They're both streaking,
Yeah.
so they're both on win streaks.
Felder. I don't say Felder because I don't
He's
think
a-
he's fighting.
No,
right?
he wants to actually fight Michael Chandler, who just became a free agent from Bellator
Dan
just-
Hooker.
and just
That'd
knocked
be a
out.
good first fight for Chandler.
Right, and Chandler just knocked out Ben Henderson in the first round, which is a pretty good knockout.
Yeah,
And-
without a doubt.
I don't think Chandler looks the same, and with the USADA testing now, I don't think.
Dariush
I'm
versus
sure.
Yeah.
Dariush versus Dan Hooker. I mean, that's a big jump.
No,
That's a massive.
Hooker
jump.
would not take. Hooker feels too entitled to take that fight. I
Yeah.
know it. He wants. If you're talking about wanting to fight Ferguson, you ain't gonna pick Dariush
Yeah.
because that's a low reward for Hooker.
Yeah.
So I
He
think-
might take Oliveira or Olivier.
Diego
Olivier? No, Oliveira.
Diego
That sounds like oil.
Yeah.
Diego Ferreira just subbed Anthony Pettis, and he needs a fight, so he might could fight him too. So, and he seems like the type that needs to fight 12 in a row and win and actually get a title shot.
Yeah.
What's the next fight?
All right. So next we got
Uh,
Wyndham's bantamweight. Is she even ranked?
Oh.
Down.
Women's band.
I like how
Oh yeah, she's number 8.
Yeah, this is how shallow some of these women's divisions
Raquel
are.
Pennington.
sure,
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
That's the only name I
It's
recognized.
just so hard to get excited about any of these women's fights in the division because you're like, ultimately they got to run into people that they're like,
Yeah.
that are
They're
holding
just
the title.
clear.
That they're
Well,
just
yeah,
clearly the
to me, 4 through the champion
Yeah.
is where that division is at.
Yeah.
Because even though we haven't seen Juliana Pena fight in a long time,
She's so good.
she's still good.
Her gas tank was worse than I thought it was gonna be, but yeah, she could be better, but she's definitely top 5. Raquel Pennington has always been boring and just like I don't.
I mean, it's
She looks like she should be the best brawler ever.
but she's just not
She's
that
not.
good at it.
not to
Yeah.
shit on Holly Holm, but sad state of affairs is that Holly Holm is number 2. You
Holly
know?
Holm
Yeah.
is
She's-
actually really boring too.
Yeah, but she's always going to be there because
Yeah.
she's going to outstrike a
Yeah.
lot of the women.
I've
Yeah.
never seen her actually improve anything about her.
No,
game
she's
at
the
all.
same fighter that fought Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, it's literally just like
100%.
distancy jabs and like
Yeah.
and like her boxing doesn't even look that good.
She
for
might
a
have
boxer.
stopped going "Tya" as much.
Yeah.
like because she was telegraphing all her kicks.
She only does that in my nightmares, which is like the
So
worst
I
part about
think we should
watching
only talk about the winner in this next one. Who is it? Darren Stewart. He's not even ranked.
it. Middleweight. So
Not even ranked.
he should
Middleweight.
probably he
You
could
should probably get a number
give
13 through 15.
13 through 15.
he
That's
actually
exactly what I was
could
going
fight
to say.
Akhmedov.
He
Even
needs
though-
a fight.
yeah, and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think Darren Stewart
Yeah,
could fight
that's yeah. There you go.
or Shabazian even.
Actually, even Brad Tavares. Who the fuck gives a
Yeah.
fuck about Brad Tavares?
Ian Heinisch.
No offense, Brad Tavares. I know you listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just lost a fan.
Man.
You lost a fan with this one.
I like you, Brad. I just you're not
We're
you're
getting
not
a dislike for that.
you're
one.
not fucking you're not shaking things up.
I feel like the last 5 middleweights could all fight each other every week, and I would not notice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
if Marvin Vittori fought Brad Tavares every week, I would not notice anything about
Yeah,
that.
it's unfortunate,
It's
but
just
it's
like-
true.
The typical lumbering middleweight fights. It's just like,
Yeah.
but Darren Stewart actually is pretty good, so I don't, I'll look out for him.
Chris Weidman
Probably
I don't
could fight. Actually, Marvin Vittori just called out Chris Weidman, so I wouldn't
Did he?
mind that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Weidman's not ranked.
But Weidman, he probably should be good. I mean,
Do you
Akhmedov's
think
number.
Weidman should he be ranked?
He
at
beat
least
number
in the
11,
top?
so he should be at least number 11, right?
By
That's,
well,
if that works
Yeah.
by the way.
These
I
probably
think.
aren't updated, but yeah.
Yeah. He should be right around there.
He could actually fight the. He could fight Brunson actually.
I think he gets his ass kicked by anybody.
I'm
he
not.
fights
I'm not
with.
upset with the Brunson fight just because I don't think Brunson's going to do anything with anybody up above him.
Right.
But it seems like a bad move for Brunson.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
reason to do it.
Well, Weidman has a better name.
Yeah,
Like you
That's
think,
true.
you-
It gives him a name win.
So you think
Gives
about
Brunson a name win.
So you think about if he fights the loser of Hall versus Romero, he already beat Hall, and Hall isn't as big a name as Weidman is, even though Hall's probably better.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, Hall's probably better than Weidman
Yeah.
at this point. But Weidman is a former champion. He just got a win, so he's actually, so it's just like
yeah, you beat
circumstantial.
Weidman on a fight night main event or something.
Yeah, if
you
they,
know?
if they could do Weidman versus Brunson fight night randomly,
Yeah.
that could be a main event
Yeah,
pretty easily.
for sure. I agree with that.
Even though I think skill wise,
and it still gives Brunson. I think Brunson beats the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
But it puts some hype behind Brunson to do it.
and it gets him keeps him moving in the division because
Yeah.
sometimes the fights aren't there for
If
people
he's
that
not
want
willing
to
to
fight.
wait for, say, Till,
Yeah, which he shouldn't
kick
because
Weidman's ass around the cage. For
because
a little
Till, I don't know. Till seems like he's gonna want to take bigger fights in a Brunson
bit.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think it's, I like that.
I don't think
I like that matchup for Brunson if he fights Till. To be honest with you,
Yeah, it just
because of the low output.
Till.
But how much of that low output? Because look at Till in the first round, he gets hurt.
But he was low output, like Brandon
Yeah.
pointed out. He was low output for every fight before that.
Yeah.
before that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
He looked like he was going to do more in that fight till he fucking fucked his shit up.
Right.
But. All right, so now we're looking at the main event, right?
Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis, right there. Blades needs a fight. They never fought before.
Man.
I hate that fight makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, man, like.
I hate
'cause
that fight makes so much
Lewis
sense.
did, it's not like Lewis went in there with Oleinik and showed that he's
He's
gonna
gonna be-
grapple anybody.
Yeah, well,
He's probably
especially
gonna
a
take him down.
high-level wrestler like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's a big problem, I think.
And I think that Volkov showed that.
And nobody wants to see Ngannou versus Lewis too, even though they should. They
Actually,
should want to see
I
it.
would watch that fight
Yeah.
again.
I'd watch
Isn't
the
this
fuck
it-
out of that
isn't
fight,
this
especially
on-
after this last.
Ngannou- Nganou's probably
Santos
getting-
is fighting Rosenstrike. Or?
No, that's JDS, but
Yeah.
Ngannou is probably getting the title shot next. The winner of this next
What's
week's
that?
fight. Ngannou is probably getting the
Yes.
title shot.
Oh yeah,
without
for
a doubt.
sure.
So he's,
Without
in my
doubt.
mind, he's tied up waiting for the winner
Yeah.
of the title
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah,
So
correct.
it's only Blades really, or if he goes backwards and fights Rosenstruck or the winner of Rosenstruck and
He fights
JDS.
Blades.
Yeah, because Blades
But
needs
it
to
would be
fight.
better for him to
Maybe
fight.
that
I think it would be better for him to fight the winner of Rosenstrike.
'Cause that's a better, easier win.
It's an easier
it's a-
matchup. You
yes.
can knock that guy
I
out.
agree, it's better, but Blades is the one that really,
Or-
truly makes the most sense.
Or Overeem.
Yeah.
They never
Yeah.
fought
I
before.
don't know if I like that
Yeah.
Overeem matchup for him that much either.
Because Overeem can fight smart and grapple if he needs to grapple. And
And he's probably the best striker in the heavyweight division. He
Yeah.
just also gets knocked out.
I think I would like to see that fight more. The Overeem versus.
I feel like Blades just beats him up for 5 rounds on
Yeah.
the
I
ground.
think that's a really, really, really high possibility.
I think that you just need a certain tangible.
Maybe
like,
that's why he wants to lose that weight, so he has more fucking in the gas
I
tank.
think it's probably in UFC's best interest to keep Lewis and Blades away from each other too.
I would.
So that
because, but like, what do you
I
do?
would
You're
keep,
gonna
I
need
would
some-
keep anybody
'Cause
I
you need
like
somebody
to be.
after Ngannou.
I would like everybody that I want to be a star to stay away from Blades.
Right.
Because Blades is like so
He's just
nullifying.
nullifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he's impressive in what he does. Like he's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And like you have to be a certain type of skill set to beat him. You
Right.
just have to be big like Ngannou and strong and powerful,
Yeah.
or you need to be a good wrestler like Cormier. And I'm thinking to myself like, if Blades would probably lose to Stipe, but I think that he's a better shot at beating Stipe than probably Ngannou at this point because Stipe
Yes.
is older and his wrestling's not, he's not
And
as
I think
physically
he has a
imposing.
better chance of
But
beating Stipe than Cormier.
If Lewis is ever going to be a serious contender, a
You
champion,
need to beat somebody like
he's
Blades.
got Blades is like.
It makes the
thing,
most sense.
and it's
It
like
literally
time
makes the
to
most
do
sense.
It, you know.
It literally, I hate that it makes the most sense. It makes the most sense.
And like Blades is boring, but sometimes he's not boring. Like he knocked out JDS on the feet,
yeah,
and that's a pretty good win.
but that lucky shit happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
JDS
Like, he did-
is, like,
he did
not
it,
a
so-
slouch on the feet either.
Yeah, and like I just feel like he knows what his bread and butter is, and he's good at it to this extent that most people can't stop him.
Right.
So, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. All right.
right.
So now, actually, before, actually, no, we'll do this first. Then we'll get to the news that I think we predicted.
Oh yeah.
All right. So let's start with this.
When
Yeah.
is this? Is this next weekend?
Saturday.
Is
Yeah.
this Saturday?
Oh man,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Fuck
fights on
yeah.
this. Jesus Christ.
Fuck yeah!
Look, Little Burns is fighting.
Is that really his little brother?
Yeah,
Oh,
Gilbert
no
Burns'
shit.
little brother.
No
He
He
shit.
looks way older.
TJ Brown versus Creative Fighter.
So we don't know, and we don't really know, right?
Yeah.
So,
I
move
don't know
on?
nothing about either of
All right,
them.
go up. Fleece Herring's coming back. That's kind of all right, I guess.
Yeah, I'll root for her. I don't know. There's something about her. She's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Her head.
No idea about these. Oh wait, Dawkins. Did we just?
No.
No. Okay, move on.
Parker Porter's not
Jim
a real
Miller,
name.
the old everyman, brings his lunch pail.
It's hard to
done.
not root for Jim Miller. I
Yeah.
hope he wins.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, this fight. Okay, this is remember the
Ankle
worst stoppage ever.
That's the rematch of it?
Yeah, remember?
Okay.
This is literally the worst.
That's
stoppage
why I
ever.
always remember Kudalaba. Because of that.
You
yeah,
should-
I don't know if you've ever seen that fight, but the referee called it while both
You
fighters
should
were
bring up
standing
that
on their
fight.
feet punching
Can
each
you
other.
YouTube that fight for us, please?
Try
It's,
to-
Angelov versus Kudalaba. If you could type that in on
It's
YouTube,
gonna be tough for him to type in. I feel like
Yeah.
I have faith in him.
those are some crazy fucking names.
Angelov versus Kudalaba.
Maybe even just the ending.
Yeah. If you just do-
Stoppage or something.
you watch Street Beefs too?
Yeah. Street beefs.
Do you watch that?
I haven't watched it in forever, but I have. Yes.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Ankalaev. Al. Sorry. Ankaev.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. You just do that. That's fine. It's
Yeah,
like,
because
it's
we
like,
can fast forward.
It's like 40 seconds long. There you go.
Oh, 24 seconds.
Here's a stoppage.
This is the worst stoppage in MMA history, in my opinion.
This is the first like 10 seconds. Look.
I think he's staggering to lure him in for one.
Yeah.
He calls it.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's
What
the worst
the fuck
stoppage
is
ever.
that?
He was definitely fucking around.
Replay it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He was getting fucked up, but also he was in it.
Make it bigger.
He looked like he was fucking around though.
Look,
There's no way he was really wobbling like that.
And it doesn't matter if he was wobbling.
You can
Why would
wobble.
you stop the fight? He just swung.
He just landed a punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
pissed.
bad stoppage. That is a
This is
bad
the worst
stoppage.
This is a
stoppage I've ever
rematch.
seen.
That was a banger. Look how fat. Look at
Yeah,
this. First,
that was
So
awesome.
this should be an exciting fight.
I can't wait for this fight.
yeah. See, like watching that gets you hyped up about it. Like, all right, they're rematching. Let this shake.
They were ready to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
and
made
like
no sense, dude.
he was getting the Angelov was getting the better of Kudalaba. He was a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he was swinging for the defensive. He was swinging though.
Yeah,
You gotta
but-
let him swing.
He was swinging. He really didn't look like he was really in any real trouble.
No, I think that wobbling was to lure him in.
I think maybe he was a little rocked, but I think he was also playing it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he
he
even
was.
said he was after
And
the
also,
fight.
like, you could be rocked in a fight. It's not boxing.
Yeah,
where you stop for
it
some
doesn't
dumb
matter
shit.
if he was rocked. He was standing on his feet swinging. Like, what the fuck are you
Based
calling it?
on that, I gotta predict that Angelov was gonna win just based on that exchange.
More than
I
likely.
mean, like, you just think about
Yeah.
he was.
Who knows
waiting
how
to-
they come out this time, though. you
But
know?
like, I mean, that's gonna be a banger fight. That fight was. It's weird how like a shitty stoppage creates a more interesting
Yeah.
fight later. Like,
Yeah.
Now I wanna watch.
We had to sacrifice that fight just to get an interesting aspect to this fight at all. Because
Yeah.
before
Because
that,
otherwise, we wouldn't have cared about
yeah,
this
we'd have been like,
whatsoever.
that
Right.
was good.
so it's nice to have that sort of caveat,
Yeah.
going for it.
For sure. Now, crazy. John Dodson is back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Murad
Look who's
Davalishi.
Look at this here. Not only is John Dobson back, but he came back as George Jefferson.
Yeah.
I hate John Dodson.
Yeah, he's just grating on your nerves.
And, like,
There's
he's
something about
been the
it.
same fighter too for like
Yeah.
10 years.
I actually don't hate him though.
Yeah.
I watched the Ultimate Fighter that he was on
He was
religiously.
annoying on that. He was
I loved him.
annoying.
I thought he was hilarious. I thought he was funny. He's a weirdo, without
Yeah.
a doubt. He's like a nerd.
He's
Yeah,
one of those punchable dudes. He's sort of like, I hate this.
I like him, and for some reason he's just always been like a pretty damn good fighter. I mean, he fought for the title.
Yeah.
He's not
And but I think he could do more. Like he's actually really low output too. He doesn't come forward a lot. He always counters, and like sometimes he loses fights because of that. It's like
And
think
it's
he-
insane because he might be one of the most athletic dudes.
I think he's a guy that never
He's
lived up
super
to
athletic.
his potential, though.
I agree. Completely agree.
He definitely should have been a better fighter than he was.
I'm afraid for like. I think he's like 36 now, so
Yeah.
his athleticism might be slipping in his speed because his speed was actually what got him
Yeah.
to where he was.
He's
Speed,
fast,
power.
yeah.
He's also pretty powerful.
Right, but if your speed's not there to land, it's
Yeah,
not
you're
going to
done.
matter much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Now I will say, I think this should have actually been the co-main event: Junior Dos Santos
I don't
versus
think so in terms
Rosenstrike.
of-
Well,
no, because the star power isn't there.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to put Sugar Sean in the co-main event.
Yeah.
You
I agree
can't
with
build
that.
up Jairzinho Rosenstrike.
they
You
want
can't-
everybody to
I'll-
watch.
You know
Sean
what?
O'Malley,
I agree with that. So when we get to that fight, I'll tell you why I think that. But so Junior Dos Santos versus Rosenstrike, I want to say this is a pretty clear win
Dude.
for Rosenstrike.
Dude,
I don't know.
JDS
I don't
looks
know.
shredded.
I don't know, man.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Rosenstrike, what? So he had the Overeem fight where he split Overeem's lip, but up until that point was like getting tagged, was losing the fight, I think.
Right.
And then Ngannou wipes him off the earth.
But I don't think Dos Santos is on the same level
No.
as Overeem, and I also
Dude.
don't think he's going to deal with that pressure.
Oh my God, JDS is shredded, bro.
Oh shit!
Wow,
Wow, he's back on that juice.
yeah, shredded.
He found the USADA workaround.
He's very oily
he
there.
looks crazy.
Yeah,
He's very oily there, but he's shredded.
Hey, Bean, actually try to pull that up. Dos Santos ripped.
Look for his Instagram. If you type in Junior Dos Santos.
I bet if you put Dos Santos ripped, he's gonna fucking.
He's huge.
Dos Santos, yeah. And
But I think they're on pretty even playing ground as far as the striking, like their skill level. I think they both have questionable chins at this
these
point.
are no.
Yep, go down.
Just look for his Instagram because it's on there. And there we go.
Yeah, I just think they both have kind of questionable chins.
Go to all. Don't go to pictures. Go to all of them. Just go to the website because that's where I just.
Yeah, just go there.
Down one.
I mean that's
He still looks in better
No.
shape
yeah,
than his last
dude,
fight.
Look at that,
Shredded.
dude.
Shredded.
Yeah,
So-
that's the best shape I've ever seen him in. Actually,
Yeah, but yeah, for sure, without a doubt. But
I think it's gonna be a banger, dude.
he
and,
hasn't. He's never dealt with a lot of pressure well.
Yeah.
And Rosenstrike is going to bring pressure.
I don't know. Rosenstrike is sort of like a. I mean, yeah. He sort of counterfights. He counterfought in the Overeem fight, and then he's rushed Ngannou. So I think you can see a different version of him.
Yeah.
And he might be more hesitant because he got knocked out in his last fight. So you might see a little
That's
more
true.
hesitant Rosenstruck. But it actually makes me more excited the fact that he is in better shape because
Yes.
JDS has looked sluggish.
Specialty rinses.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he,
That's a virus.
gotta wipe the computer clean.
Bean, stay off the porn.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like he's looked sluggish and not like he's looked very weathered. So seeing him in better shape gives me more hope that
I
he's gonna
agree.
come in a
Yeah.
better form
I
than
think
he
it's
has.
gonna be an exciting fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited
Somebody's
for
getting
that.
KO'd.
I think it should be the co-main event. Now, since we're getting to the fight, here's why. They gave Sean O'Malley the bigger fight, like on the card,
Yeah.
but they didn't give him a big fight competition-wise.
I disagree.
Yeah, I think Marlon Vera is.
I'm not
really
saying
good.
I think
pretty,
I'm not
pretty
saying
big step up from what he's dealt with so far.
I'm not saying that he's not a step up, but I'm saying in the co-main event there is an unranked guy,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. As far as
completely unranked,
Yeah.
as far as a name,
going
as far,
against 14.
As far as
But-
a name,
And I'm
headline
a
in
massive O'Malley fan.
Yeah.
Massive.
But that just speaks to look how big of a star Sean O'Malley has become. We're putting it, you know, what I mean, no matter who the
Right.
fuck he's fighting.
I would
He's
have
like-
no qualms with this being the number 3 fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zero qualms.
I agree, but I look at the fact that what could sell the pay per view more.
yeah.
Probably
That-
O'Malley.
yeah, and that's why I look at it. Like it has nothing to do with. It never has anything to do with like actually competition. Really,
Right.
It just doesn't. And sometimes competition coincides with star power, but this fight doesn't because Marlon Vera is unranked. But anyone who watches UFC knows that Marlon Vera is really good, and he's a
Yeah.
finisher, and he's
Yeah.
crafty as fuck.
Yeah.
Like I think he has 9 wins, 8 finishes in the UFC, different types of stoppages. He has submissions, knockouts. So it's like this is a good step up for Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
He's still very young.
Still
It's
very young.
It's a solid three fights at the top of
Solid
this card.
3
And
fights.
what I
Yeah.
need to do is I need to see him be put in positions he's never been in. And
Yeah.
Marlon Vera is pretty durable. He's never been finished in his career.
Yeah.
So and like compared to someone like Wineland, who's a good fighter but also very diminished.
Right.
This is not a diminished fighter. This is not an old fighter. This is not someone who's going to be walked over and just he could do that to him, but historically he hasn't been no one's done that to him. So
Right.
It's a good test for Sean O'Malley, and it was a fight that they could make, so they made it.
Yeah.
I think Cheetah Vera called him out.
And they're throwing Sean O'Malley a bone by being like, look, you're gonna come main this
Yeah.
big card.
It's about to
We're-
get paid.
They,
Yeah.
they want him to show up and put on a good performance
Yeah.
and have a showcase fight. And I think that this could be a fight like that. It just depends on
It does all those things. I think.
Depends on how good Sean O'Malley actually
Yeah.
is.
and how good Cheetah Vera matches up with his style.
Right.
So I think styles make fights in MMA. I think that's just
Without
what
a
it
doubt.
is.
Yeah.
It just like he could get caught, but like Sean O'Malley, if he doesn't get the finish in the first round, 2 rounds, doing spinning attacks.
Yeah.
If he grapples a lot, where's his gassing
What's
guy?
he look like?
These are
Yeah.
different questions we don't have.
He won a
answers
decision
for.
with 1 foot, so
But that guy was literally the worst
Yeah.
IQ fight I've ever seen in my life.
because he should have just been
What's
attacking.
he? You know,
Yeah.
if he
that
does
leg.
get pushed into 3 rounds, what's he look like after he's had pressure put on him
Yeah.
for a long
Whenever
time?
this dude's still here in his face,
Yeah.
Right.
could he still flashily win the fight?
Or is
Yeah.
he just gonna flatline this dude and Sean O'Malley shoots to the top
Yeah.
even further? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think Sean O'Malley is incapable of doing exactly what he did to Eddie Wineland, the Cheeto Vera.
No.
Right.
If he does that, that's more impressive to me than the
Yeah,
Wineland
for sure.
Yeah.
win. So
And if he does do it, watch out, Sean O'Malley's headlining
Yeah.
cards.
yeah, he's fighting probably for the title next, probably because at the UFC.
I hope not, but yeah.
I think Peter Yan beats the shit out of Sean O'Malley at this point. I don't know.
So
Peter
for me to
Yan
say,
is-
I haven't seen enough of Peter Yan to be honest.
Neither of them really. to
Yeah.
know.
I mean, Peter Yan. I mean, he's just like a stud, you know.
He is, yeah, without a doubt. But they're 2 wildly different styles. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both stand-up artists, but still wildly different.
But-
One's more precision, one's like creative.
But I think that
As you can see by his hair, can you guess which one's the creative one?
Yeah.
Peter Yan, though, I think he's like a boxing champion, like undefeated in boxing in Russia, which is whatever. But like he is a master of ceremonies in sambo,
Yeah,
so like he's just a very accomplished combat athlete, you know.
yeah, without a doubt.
And we don't know that because we're not Russian, but
Yeah. All right, so now for the headliner,
I think Stipe wins.
I've never been
I
so
think-
unsure about
I
the
think
fight.
Cormier wins.
Yeah.
I think Cormier should have won the second fight.
That's my thing, man. I'm rooting for Stipe. I'm a fan of Stipe. I can't get past the idea that Cormier's gonna that he has won more rounds in both of these fights,
Yeah,
and if not for him just gut punching Cormier and Cormier doing nothing about it.
when Cormier's entire corner was telling him to take him down,
Yeah.
which he
But-
can do.
But
Yeah.
he
But we
could-
don't know what he's gonna do with taking him down either, because he hasn't.
So if you take him down, you don't get gut punched.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I'm not confident Stipe wins it. I want Stipe to win. Honestly, I just think this fight between these two is coin flip every time. I think it's one of those. I mean, it's going to go one way, 50-50 every time.
I actually think and want Cormier to win, but I also think it is kind of a coin flip.
I think that age is a real thing.
Yeah.
Cormier is getting older. He doesn't compete as often as he used to.
That's my thing.
Stipe?
But Stipe's younger. He has
By
less mileage.
2
on him.
years?
That's my thing, though. Is
But, well, Stipe's 37. Cormier's
it
41.
wouldn't
Okay.
surprise me to see Cormier come out and he just lost. He lost a lot of. When's the last time they fought? What, a year ago?
Yeah.
Well,
That's both of them, though.
but
I know, but
Another-
it wouldn't surprise me that Cormier has hit that wall in between where it's like, dude, you're
He did look a
40.
lot older in the interviews on this last fight
Yeah.
card.
and I know for sure he got up to 285 pounds in the off season.
Jesus, you're too small for that.
Yeah, and I don't trust that a 41-year-old can
Can
cut
lose
all
it
that
well,
weight
yeah.
and get in the best condition possible. I
Yeah.
don't think that's. I think it's harder, and I don't trust that he's going to be in better shape than he was last time.
Yeah.
Especially with the age, another year older. It just
Yeah.
athletic prime is a real thing,
But I also think if it wasn't for John Jones, we would have a much different opinion of Daniel Cormier.
I have a good opinion of Cormier as a fighter.
I
think he's
do.
great.
I think he's one of the
But
best.
but
of all
if it
time.
wasn't for John Jones, I mean, he's
he's the greatest.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, but okay, it's like what wrinkles to the game can they change? Can Cormier wrestle at age 41 with with the years he's had? He hasn't wrestled for 5 rounds since he beat Josh Barnett,
Yeah.
and that was 10 years ago.
I still think he can. He's just got that frame.
I don't think he can. I just don't.
Especially at heavyweight, he's going to have so much leverage.
I
I just don't think he
I
can.
can't believe Stipe's as old as he is.
Yeah, he looks younger, but
Well,
and
not just that, he hasn't been fighting as long as
No,
some of these
it's-
other guys.
yeah.
Although Cormier hasn't fought that long. He shouldn't, for how late he came in the
he came
game.
in, he came in like in his 30s.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like, what if they stand up? What's stopping? What about Cormier striking is going to be different that enables him to block body shots? Because he's been fighting like the
I
Frankenstein
don't know
arms out for a
anything.
while.
He was wide open for him.
Yeah.
He just let it happen.
Yeah, and like,
For who knows how many in a row.
Is his striking based around that stance? Can he
Yeah.
change his striking in his stance to minimize his body shots? It's hard to
Yeah.
tell because he didn't the whole fight. He
Yeah.
fought like this with his
Did
arms out.
Stipe figure something out that Cormier's just not going to be able to get around?
Yeah.
And if Stipe expects a grinding wrestling match, can he circumvent that some way?
Yeah.
Because he's a good
I'm
wrestler.
sure
in
he's
his own
expecting
right.
to be taken down in this
Yeah,
fight.
yeah. I would imagine he should be. And I agree, he's a good wrestler in his own right. I just don't think he's on the same level as Cormier wrestling.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and watch both of their fights.
What,
again.
what,
not a bad
what
idea.
level is that age 41 last fight of his career?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
if you don't sharpen that tool, if you don't fight like that,
Yeah.
it's hard to know if you have the gas to fight 5 rounds of wrestling fight.
But even though they're so much smaller, so it is what he's so much smaller. It is what it is. But you know who's in his camp?
Khabib, right?
Khabib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's of course I think he's a great wrestler. It just matchup wise, can you implement that on a Stipe who's expecting it, who's younger, who's also a good wrestler in his own right, and is already figured it out on the feet to some extent.
It's just
Right.
so weird. The first fight, I felt like Cormier kind of flukily won that with
I
that
poked the shit
exchange.
out of him actually.
And then the second fight, I feel like Cormier was winning the fight all the way up until
He was.
all the way up and like pretty handedly winning the fight.
Yeah.
Up until Stipe
He was
figured
tagging
out,
him
like,
up.
I'm gonna punch
Yeah,
him in the
it-
gut. So it's just what we have on him is just odd. Like it's hard to
Yeah.
figure out what they're gonna.
It's gonna be a way different fight than we even expect probably. You know
Probably.
what I mean? It's gonna be something that like isn't like the first two because the first two are so they're not fluky, but they're also very unique.
Yes.
And it's like, well, it's going to be a way different fight because you each have this set of data each other have on each other. So
Right.
you can't really, account for that before it.
Yeah,
so.
Stipe knows to watch out for that hook in the clinch, and Cormier knows to he's gonna want to go for the body again.
Yeah.
Stipe knows that Cormier's going to retire wrestle.
Yeah,
Cormier even
Stipe
says
knows
in
he wants to
interviews.
wrestle.
So like,
Does Cormier just come out and not even wrestle because
Yeah, right. You never know. And his striking isn't bad, especially at heavyweight.
No.
But let's go ahead and do this. I'm going Cormier.
I'd say Stipe's going to win.
Stipe?
Stipe. All right. All right. The last thing I want to talk about is
Garbrandt.
what I believe we called here on the podcast. I think we were the first people to call it. Cody Garbrandt versus
Davison Figueiredo.
Figueiredo. Go
They're
to rankings.
doing that for sure.
Yeah.
November.
Okay, what's the card? That it's
255, I believe.
Go to rankings.
It's that flyweight title fight, and then there's the women's Shevchenko versus Maya
which is like
flyweight. Do they have anything else for the card?
Not yet, but that's fight.
It's November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
November.
far away.
But still, so
Well, Khabib's fighting in October, so
Yeah,
they need to pad out.
yeah.
Well, I think that,
That's lining up to be a really good card, though. the
yeah. But what do you
Garbrandt.
think about this fight, though?
dude,
I
I
think it's
don't-
awesome.
I'm afraid of Cody's chin at 125.
Yeah.
I'm afraid if you cut more weight, your chin doesn't get better.
It seems like it happens.
Yeah.
For sure. It
So
seems
I'm
like
afraid
it
of
seems
it.
like it gets worse.
I
Right.
think it's gonna
Yeah.
be a banger, dude. I mean, Garbrandt's super fast. Figueiredo is violent as shit. He's
Yeah.
got power,
Yeah.
but
I'm excited for that fight, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that-
I mean,
it's
is
probably
that-
the most excited I've been
The
for.
flyweight
For a
Is, the,
flyweight
pow-
fight,
is
yeah.
the power going to be there for Figueiredo like it was against
Benavidez.
And
Yeah, I mean,
Benavidez
you're
is-
knocking around a much smaller guy.
Yeah.
Does he punch Garbrandt? Garbrandt's like, like-
Yeah. Okay.
but does Garbrandt's power carry down to 125 too? So it's hard to
I
say.
feel like there's
Has
a good
to.
possibility it will because he was already so fast. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's not like
yeah.
he was.
You wing anything that fast.
Yeah, it's not like he
Right.
was slow for his division. I think and it's what I said when he won the title. I said what people don't realize because he's just been knocking people out and they just think of him as a powerful striker is he's fucking
Yeah,
fast
his
as
speed
hell.
is unreal.
Yeah. Well, he has like he had bad tendencies to like get the sprawl, and it's
Yes.
like he didn't do himself any service by
No.
fighting like that,
Yeah.
and he could be a lot smarter, and he showed that in his last fight. He minimized his damage, got the knockout. I'm hoping I'm rooting for Cody more than Davison.
know.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Cody, and what happens if he wins that fight? It becomes a very interesting situation.
If he wins that fight, he's going for the another
The
title.
fight
after
135. That's what
Yeah,
I mean. It becomes a
immediately.
very interesting situation.
He's doing
for
it
him
immediately.
because
They're not even going to make him fight somebody else to
right.
get there.
It proves that he's a real threat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Should he win that fight against Figueiredo, he's holding that title, so it definitely gives him leverage at 135 still.
I kind of hate this shit though of like the 125-pound fighter winning the belt and then actually like Cejudo just did it. Like
Yeah.
he did the same exact thing. He won the title, then
I'm
he
not
went to
gonna- I'm not
135.
going to fight in this division.
Yeah,
though.
and like I just like I don't mind Cody being a dominant champion at 125. I feel like
I don't mind that either, but you
But if
can't
Cody-
you can't get mad at him for winning.
no, of course
you know
not.
what I mean.
If
Like-
Cody goes and takes that 125 title, the 125 title immediately goes to the 135 guy who's is trying to fight again. at
But
135.
it makes a champion just become somebody to have shine to go up again.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
But I'm fine with it. Yeah, I mean, because that division's kind of weak as it is, so it's like anything that makes it a little more exciting down there.
Yeah, and like that's like I think that
And then throwing an interim belt fight in there helps the division as well. Like, okay, there's 2 stars because otherwise it's hard to get them on a card.
Yeah. Well, I know that for sure that UFC made Figueiredo take the fight because he said beforehand that he wants to see Cody come down and fight and
Somebody else.
show he
Fuck
can make the
that.
weight. But like, so you're gonna have him versus who? Like, you know what I mean? Brandon
the
Moreno.
minute Cody
Joseph
Garbrandt,
Benavidez.
the minute Cody
Right.
Garbrandt reaches 125 pounds, he's the #1 contender in that
Yeah,
division.
just,
Yeah.
and
I
like
don't
just by
need to see
the
him
money
fight anybody
aspect
else.
of it. And
Money
then-
aspect, star
yeah.
power, everything.
interesting, styles clash, just skill
Yeah,
wise.
if you're Figueiredo, what's more interesting for you to do? You know
Yeah,
what I
or
mean?
in your mind, you're not going to get as much money
No.
for any of those other fights as you would for a
no.
Cody Garbrandt fight.
Yeah.
You yourself are also going to get more paid.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna headline the card.
It's probably
Yeah.
I mean, I would say a worse matchup than anyone else in the division there for him.
Yeah,
Cody.
without a doubt.
So it's like I understand why you would be hesitant because it's like, well, this dude's coming down, getting a title shot, and he could be just
Yeah.
knock me out
I thought it
pretty
was
fast.
gonna rain here forever.
Yeah, against
Come on.
actual flyweights, who aren't that good. Really, you think about the flyweight division, and they're not that as impressive.
But
No.
if Figueiredo wins against Garbrandt,
His star power is a little
maybe
higher, too.
Figueiredo's like, I'm gonna come for that 135 title now, motherfucker.
Honestly, the way he is,
he said he wanted to actually.
I think
Did he?
could.
Yeah,
I mean, he might be able
he's
to, but if I was
interesting,
him,
too.
I might knock a person out or two before that,
right.
just
But if
to
you-
get paid, because his star power is going to be big enough. His star power is going to be big enough after beating Cody that he's going to sell fights fighting those other guys.
Yeah.
If he beats Cody.
I mean, to a certain extent, I think generally that it's hard to gauge interest in.
But
flyweight,
beating Cody
you know?
puts you immediately in the top like 5 of
Bantamweight.
135.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
bantamweight win as well.
yeah,
Just like Cejudo beat Dillashaw, and that's a bantamweight win. For,
Right. Right.
It just is.
yeah,
But I think that it's hard to get excited for anyone to watch a flyweight fight. It's just hard to.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's generally
Except
no names.
Figueiredo himself, he's exciting.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
his opponent, you're like, whatever.
That's like I wish Cejudo was still around to be in these divisions because there's a lot
So
of
do I, man.
fun
Yeah.
matchups for him in either division. Peter Yan versus Cejudo is a great ass fight. I mean, Cody Garbrandt versus Cejudo at 125 is a great ass fight.
Yeah.
Figueiredo
versus
versus
yeah,
yeah.
Cejudo.
And he's still and he's not really retired. He's still calling people out left.
He's
and
calling
right.
that Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd watch it.
I'd watch it, but I wouldn't put any faith in Cejudo winning that fight.
No,
No.
it's too much.
What is he gonna do? Like take him down, whatever? Like
Yeah.
try to strike with him? He's like it's
Yeah.
Hank, you know.
I will say it might be the best matchup for him in that weight class because Volkanovski's shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like in the top
Lengthwise and stuff.
3 or 4 would probably be the best matchup
Yeah.
for him because lengthwise, everything else, he's more his size, height wise,
Right.
probably reach wise.
I would actually like to. I mean, I would like to see the Cejudo versus Aldo fight, when that was supposed to happen.
Right.
That would have been a good fight too,
Yeah.
just style wise. But I mean, yeah, that's definitely the best flyweight fight ever. You think
Yeah.
about. I
Without a
mean,
doubt.
I would have liked to see Mighty Mouse versus Cody Garbrandt.
Oh yeah.
That'd have been a good ass fight too back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, you just think about this skill wise. Mighty Mouse is arguably like still the best. He's
he's got to be considered one of the best fighters of all time.
Figueiredo is a weird situation because without doing very much, he's become somebody in my mind who's like,
top.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
a top fighter.
Well,
Like,
just the way he dispatched Benavidez,
Yeah.
he just brutally
It's-
beat him twice. Like it just
Yeah.
wasn't even close.
Yeah, not even close.
And-
That second fight was actually worse.
And
Yeah,
and
whatever.
Benavidez is like he's always been like not the bride, but he's always been
Yeah. he's-
But no one's ever done that to him like that besides Mighty Mouse knocked
Yeah.
him out in the first round.
yeah,
but
yeah,
no one's ever brutally beat him down. So
yeah.
I mean, skill wise, he's definitely top. I mean, he's probably top 10 pound for pound just based off of
Right.
being a
what's
champion.
what's the pay per view after 252?
That's
is that lined up?
that's September. That has to be Paulo Costa versus Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
I wonder
gonna be
is there fight nights in between those?
yeah, there is.
Yeah, go ahead and
Just
just
look at what we're looking
go
at.
to events.
UFC events list.
I feel like Adesanya versus Costa is like one of the best fights they can do this year in terms of like interest, how
just go
interesting
down.
it is.
Upcoming.
Oh yeah, that
Oh
fight's
yeah,
next week.
Munoz versus Edgar.
And that also has Hall versus Romero on it, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Actually, wait. Why is there no September or anything?
Oh, that's weird.
Maybe they're taking a break.
A 2-month break?
Oh well.
Yeah, so that is that one. I'm excited for both those fights. Honestly, I love Frankie.
I want
Edgar.
to see Uriah Hall win.
I really
Yeah,
do.
no,
I
I'd
really
love
do.
to
Because I'm
see
tired of
him-
seeing Romero float around and
Yeah.
not fight often.
And
I
not
just
just
wanna
that,
see-
Uriah Hall has all the potential in
Yeah.
the world, and
He's getting old though. He
That's
needs
what I'm
to-
saying.
he needs to
He's got to
get
do
up.
it now if he's
Yeah.
going to do it. He's got to do
He's
it
like
now.
35. I
I'd like
think.
to
Yeah,
see.
look
the-
at him. He looks like an old disgruntled fucking postal worker.
What's
I'd
the
like
rest
to
of the
see those
card
skills
now?
come together, though.
Yeah. All right, go back.
Yeah, so it's August, boom, all the way out to
That's-
October. They're gonna put. They're gonna.
There's
fill that
got to
in,
be
yeah.
stuff
Well,
in
there-
there.
there's-
That's crazy.
There's the Izzy fight in between
Go
there.
to-
It's probably not official
Go
though.
to Google and just type UFC events list.
Because Wikipedia is actually a lot more
Wikipedia,
updated.
Yeah, they'll have
Yeah.
if there's anything in between.
2009. Yeah. Oh,
No, just
2020. I'm
list
sorry.
is
Yeah.
fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's funny how Wikipedia is more updated than the UFC site.
UFC's fucking website is the
Yeah,
worst.
dude, they're
Garbage.
terrible.
I don't know. I like to use it on here, but it's
Okay,
probably
so Cormier, Miocic, Munoz, Edgar, fight night. Yeah, so they're playing in 3 fight nights in between.
253, which is
Let's click
719.
175, see if there's anything for it. Zabit, that's
That, what,
Zabit.
that fight's off.
Oh, okay. What? Okay,
Zabit
go,
got-
go down.
yeah. Scroll down. It should show us.
Announce about Anthony Smith.
Oh yeah, Anthony Smith.
Oh, Ratchik. That's a good fight.
Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
Really,
She's-
your name is Christian
Robbie
Aguilera?
Lawler, Robbie Lawler and Neil Magny.
Oh shit,
That's cool.
that's cool.
When was that announced?
Must have just been.
That's fucking crazy.
I thought he was fighting Jeff Neal, actually. I think that's wrong. I think he's fighting Jeff Neal. I haven't heard about Lawler coming back.
Ricardo
This
Lamas,
is Ryan Hall. That's an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall's a weird fighter.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that dude's name is Christian Aguilera.
Like, change it.
What the
Change-
fuck? Change your name, dude. All of it. Change all of it.
If you just go to Chris Aguilera, that's way,
It's still way better.
it's not most of her name, you know.
So it looks like September though will be
If you
just
go to the
mostly
next,
fight
go to the next
nights.
fight nights.
Yeah.
176. Oh my God.
Oh. Jesus.
No.
Nope. Get out of that.
Please. No fights that week.
177.
What the fuck was that?
Literally the worst
Not
card I've
on
ever
the
seen.
podcast.
Was that a Bellator prelim?
What the hell? Roxanne Modafferi versus Adrian
I'm
Lee.
sure
These
they're
are
gonna-
Bellator prelims.
I'm sure they're gonna fill these out.
Yeah, yeah.
These are awful.
See, it says, look, Thiago Santos, Glover Teixeira to serve as the event headliner.
Okay, that's not a bad fight.
Oh, okay.
That's a good fight, actually.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
still,
yeah.
that undercard's garbage. 253, I think it's
That's Adesanya.
Yeah, go ahead and click on that. Let's see what we got there.
market.
Yeah, that's Costa.
They're gonna add another main event.
God,
event.
yeah.
Yeah,
got
there's gonna be
to.
some coming.
I mean, Zubara Tukukov is the one who punched Conor McGregor in the cage, so.
yeah.
That's a
Johnny
thing.
Walker is on that. Yeah.
Johnny. Oh yeah, Ryan Spawn.
There you go.
Okay. Mackenzie Dern's fighting. That's.
So these are all going to be filled
Yeah,
out.
they
more,
gotta be
I'm
filled
sure.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, but look at the Gaethje card. Is there any other fights announced for that?
Gaethje,
The
254.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't announced anything else for that. Robert Whitaker.
Walt
Cannonier.
Harris versus Volkov in. Dude, that's actually stacked right there.
That's a
Yeah.
stat card.
Right
Wow.
there. That's. I mean, those three
That's
fights
the-
are better
yeah.
than
Yeah.
most fights I've
I'm
seen.
surprised they would put anything really good with that because that's going to sell no matter what.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
Yeah,
card.
that'd be
What?
an awesome card.
Volkov versus Harris. So that's a tricky fight to call.
Yeah.
Because if Harris looked like last time, Volkov's gonna pick him apart.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, because he's not gonna get caught by those big bombs and then
Yeah.
wilt like that.
Alright.
I mean, Cannonier I think should beat Whitaker, but that's a good
I
fight
think,
too.
yeah.
Man, it's going to be. There's some exciting shit coming.
Though I
Yeah.
can't I
through
can't root for
October.
Cannonier after he's a Q in on.
Is he
conspiracy
really?
theories.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Fuck, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Crazy.
yeah,
I
like
can't take it anymore.
yeah, like I mean, if you espouse those sort of views, it's hard for me to like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
it's
like
so,
you.
It's so
As a
fucking
public
outrageous,
figure,
man.
for sure.
Yeah,
It's
if you're,
ridiculous.
I mean, he's a good fighter though, so whatever.
He's a good fighter, but that's just so fucking absurd.
yeah.
So ridiculous. All right, man. Well,
All
I
right.
think we'll wrap this up. I'm glad we got it in. Sorry we missed last week, guys.
Back next week for Miocic versus Cormier.
Absolutely, we'll be back for that. I can't wait to see that fight card,
Yeah.
and we'll see
Can't
you
wait
then,
to
guys.
talk about Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
See what happens with him, right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, peace.
See ya.
See ya.